His camera to work, couldn't get to work, period. The I-10 ramp is what I'm going to rant about to start the show. I can't get on the I-10 ramp off of Thomasville Road. It makes me want to scream. The level of stupidity that is on display on America's roadways on a daily basis. But you all deal with that. You don't want to hear your afternoon talk show host talk about that.
Did it remind you of 3rd and 16 and you looking at the alignment pre-snap and you see we're in zone?
And that's a first down on the way, baby, for your opposing team. I talked to somebody today because this person's also a gambler, and we were comparing our game notes because it is Redemption Thursday. And he said, who you taking this week? I said, you're going to have to tune into the Jeff Cameron show, bitch.
Okay.
I said this. I'm not giving freebies out here. And I kid. Anyhow, I told the person that I'm not sure I'm taking the Noles to cover if that's what he's asking. I'm supposed to send in a pick for the report. I haven't sent it in yet. I'll do that during the break. I got to get locked in, buddy. I've got to get locked in. Deion pulls in the number 2 recruit for 2025 at quarterback. There goes, no less, there goes Jeff's theory on Deion. I don't have a theory on Deion. We'll see. I don't think he's going to have the same kind of success when this roster flips over. But if he does, he does. He'll prove me wrong. That'll be great. CJ, if you feel that strongly about Deion, then good, man. Celebrate that. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's a good day for CJ.
He's really pumped for Deion. Oh man, it's a bit of a cult. The one and you know what's funny about that is that I always liked Colorado. That's one thing we haven't talked about. I've always wanted Colorado to be good. They used to be good. They used to be good way back in the day. I remember when they split a national title, and there was a little stretch where they had a lot of players that I loved.
I'm old enough to remember Colorado, Nebraska being cool.
Oh, it was a big. I went to the Colorado-Nebraska game in Lincoln. And I remember thinking that this is really cool because when you grow up in the South, you're obviously privy to any number of great rivalries in college football. They're littered throughout the Southeast. But I would look longingly for the ones, say, in the Midwest or on the West Coast, just as something different, just to go see. I always wanted Colorado to be good. Hey, guess what? Colorado's pretty good this year. So they got a chance to obviously go to the playoff, and Deion will let you know about it if they do. And he should. He should, and he will. And I won't resent that in any way, shape, or form. I still don't want him to be Florida State's head coach, and for very valid reasons, good ones at that. But he's winning at Colorado right now. Let's know Dan Mullen, huh? Boy, everybody's got it on the mind because the buzz is out there. Have you guys gone over to Warchant? Because if you have,
sounds like you're tapping on warchant.com.
Yeah, now. Well, I did. I wanted to see if anything had been updated. I want to make sure that because I looked at it this morning, I didn't look at it as of 2 hours ago. And, you know,
by morning, you mean 6 a.m.
Yeah.
That's the kind of morning you have.
Typically, yes. It's the first thing. I actually have a system in place, Tom, each morning where I get up, I walk the dogs, I pour a strong cup of coffee.
Oh, okay.
And this morning, by the way, I walked outside with the dogs and said, that's right, dogs. Those are the football wins. They have fallen back upon the Tallahassee landscape, and we can celebrate again.
How old are they?
The dogs?
Yeah.
Annie is 1. She just turned 1.
Okay.
And Mike is about to turn 3.
Okay. So they've experienced, Mike especially, he's experienced some chills. But
Mike,
Annie might be like, what the heck is this?
Yeah. She doesn't like the cold. She wants to go back in the house. And she's a 75-pound dog, and she looks at me and she goes, yeah, we don't need to be out here. Let's take it back in the house, Dad. It's pitch black out here. It's 40 degrees. What are we doing?
Dad, when do we get to take it to Del Boca Vista?
Mike, meanwhile, you know, pit bulls are short hair. He's like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. He walks outside. He's like, do you feel this? Yeah, Mike, I do. This is good stuff. He went sprinting around the backyard before I came to work today just to tell me how happy he was with the weather. He's just sprinting around the backyard, just smiling away. It was great. And I said, Mike, we got to get back in the house. I got Redemption Thursday to do, buddy. I got games. I got picks. Let's go. Let's get after it. Hey, by the way, on the Deion Sanders thing, do you think, he said he's happy where he is. All coaches say that. Do you think Jerry Jones will offer him the job in Dallas? If he does, he should take it.
Yeah, I mean,
like Jerry's, that Jerry's about making a splash.
I know it's the wrong answer for sports talk radio. I don't care. Jerry will do wild. Jerry wanted to take Johnny Manziel, so this would be a far less crazy thing for Jerry to do than to take Johnny Manziel in the first round when he had to be talked down and they took Zach Martin instead.
I'm just kind of curious.
It's a very Jerry would.
Yeah, he would. He would. I think he would.
It's like when Al Davis was alive. Do you think Al Davis is going to take Darius Hayward Bay with a top 10 pick?
He did.
Like, yeah, I think he would.
Yeah, because he's fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. All right, so you guys, before we get to the picks, we're looking, obviously, when we have been talking about this quite a bit. We had a long conversation yesterday in which we got into the candidates and, who do you like? And I, in turn, talked about how, hey, you could love a guy, you could hate a guy. There are no guarantees either way. The guy that you hate may turn out to be great. The guy that you love may turn out to be terrible. And there are examples in which coordinators and coaches were both in a very short period of time. I used Tom Herman because he had just been fired. Once the bell of the ball. By the way, and by reading yesterday about Tom Herman, I'll have you know, Tom, that he's also a Mensa. Legitimately tested as a Mensa. Yeah. So he's a brilliant guy who had huge success and at 49 is about to be out of football. It's crazy how quickly it all turns. And then there have been guys, obviously, that had no success and land in the right spot and end up making a huge dent in their legacy for the good. Flips the reputation around. Are you excited to hear about what's going to happen if Florida State makes this hire? You think this is the guy that everybody wants?
Who are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. I thought everybody was aware that we've been talking about Marion, right? He's the latest.
I think that there's enough in Marion's past that suggests when he doesn't have much to work with, he gets something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Departed take on the John Lennon line. You give me a tuba,
and I'll get you something out of it. Yeah,
like that. You're gonna need that skill when you get here. But I think whether or not Marion becomes Florida State's next offensive coordinator, I really want to see what the whole picture looks like. I get that head coach, who's offensive minded, and offensive coordinator are two of the biggest pieces to the total picture. But I would like to see the layout of the support staff. I would like to see the layout of the position coaches, what recruiting chops they have, where they've been in their past, where, they secured a 4 or 5 star player or whatever it is. Do they have relationships in the state of Florida? Is it Bama? Is it Georgia? I want to see that whole picture before I make a judgment on it, because they all need to work together here. And I think that's something that when Mike went through it the first time, we were just so happy for newness. And whatever the package deal looked like, that's fine. As we got into it a little bit just before COVID happened, they're going to have to do some work on the trail here. Now, he's got the new coach thing going for him, but they don't have a whole lot of, outside of Odell Hagens and Ron Dugans, do they have anybody that has Florida ties on this 1.0 staff of Mike Norvell? No, they didn't. So I want to see the whole picture here, and how Mike puts those pieces on the board together and how the new offensive coordinator chooses for those pieces to be put together gives me a sense of what Mike thought the problem was, and that's the important thing to me.
That's the better conversation, in my opinion, too. Now, other people feel differently. They'll get very, very excited, obviously, about, what the numbers look like. So, for example, at UNLV, they run, can we do this? I'm going to ask. I'll be fine with this hire, by the way. I don't have a problem with Brennan Marion being hired if he is. I think that's it's exciting. I'm excited for newness. I'm excited for fresh eyes. I'm excited for an infusion of new ideas. I'm excited for other coordinators, different coaches to come in here and lay their hands on this product and begin the changes that are necessary. We'll see. We'll be here for the ride, and we'll be able to document whether it works or doesn't work. I want a radical shift of ideas from everything from practice to recruiting to play calling to style defensively. I want to see all of it. And I just got done for the last 2 weeks basically telling everybody, hey, look, there are no sure things. Guys that are kicking ass right now may be tomorrow's trash in college and pro football. And the guys that you've cast aside over the years as can't coach, terrible at his job, never going to be successful, doesn't know what he's doing, sometimes turns out to be the opposite. We've watched it happen time and again. Sometimes it is what it is. Somebody's given a multitude of opportunities and they fail at every turn. And you go, you know what? It's not translating. All of the knowledge, he's not able to apply it. He can't get kids to execute. Doesn't matter how smart he is. Doesn't matter how much football he knows. He can't teach it. So, we see that, but there are so many times that we end up having definitive opinions on coaches that really ought to be more nuanced, ought to be more in the gray area. Does Brennan Marion come in and save Mike Norvell in this offense? Maybe. Absolutely could. I sure as hell hope so. Does he come in and fall flat on his face? Could. Perhaps. Might happen. Don't know. It's going to be hard to do worse than this, I'll say that. The bar is pretty freaking low for Brennan Marion. All I ask is that when he comes to Tallahassee, if indeed he's the one who's hired to run the offense, is that he please change the name of it. If, in fact, he named it. I don't know that he did. I don't follow a ton of UNLV football. But nobody needs to call their offense the go-go offense. It's ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous. We're not children. Don't call it the go-go offense.
I'm sorry. You're not going to like the answer to that question. It's not changing. He wore a chain that said go-go on it before a game this season.
Damn it, Brennan.
So you're going to have to let the young guy be a young guy. He's younger than me. He's 37.
Call it something tougher, something cooler than go-go. It's not Inspector Gadget. We don't need to do this. Call it something other than the go-go offense. Anything. I'd rather it be, I don't know, bust that ass. That's a chain. Now, that's a chain right there. I'll get one. We'll do the show with a bust that ass chain. That'd be hilarious. What's going on in Tallahassee? They've lost it. All of this losing is constant. They've gone raunchy. Anyhow, they've set school records at UNLV under Brennan Marion. Last year, the initial results with the Rebs, pretty damn good, huh? School record 6 games, scoring 40 or more points, including 4 consecutively. They scored at least 24 points in a school record 10 straight games and 12 overall. That tied them with, that's right, my guy out in Oregon. Prolific out in Oregon, Tommy.
Oh, yeah? Who's that guy? I've never heard his name, Oregon's head coach. Who's he? Is he like a hot up-and-coming coach?
By the way, he also had a first-team All-American at wide receiver in Ricky White III, a freshman of the year quarterback. Did a lot for that offense. A ton of young players produced a lot of points. You had freshmen all over the lot at UNLV dropping 10, 11, 12 touchdowns. So that was impressive. And if you go back and go through all of the places that he's been, and that includes the University of Texas, where he was the passing game coordinator in 2022. They finished with a top 25 scoring offense, averaged 34.5 points per game while he was there. Xavier Worthy was a player that he tutored, if you will, and that player led the conference in touchdowns. Was the top, obviously, first-round draft pick, top 20, top 30 pick. I think 28th.
That was the year where he got hurt. No, Ewers got hurt against Bama.
Yeah,
22, right? Wasn't that Bryce Young's year?
I believe that's
where he bailed them out in the fourth quarter, and
fourth
Saban
quarter.
blew the clock management.
The whole thing. Yeah. Marion went on to get a Division I coaching opportunity at Howard, where he had 2 exceptional seasons as the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. That was prior to Texas. Obviously, you go through and you look at all that he's done, and the numbers add up. He's been a high school head coach. He was a running backs coach at a small school. He was an offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Howard. He was the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach at William and Mary. Coached wide receivers at Pitt. Obviously had great success there. Was the passing game coordinator, wide receivers coach at Texas, and then obviously what we've seen now with UNLV. He's been an ascending star in the game. There's no doubt. His name is on many a hot board, including that of FAU maybe being a head coaching candidate.
Yeah, that's the hang up. That is the hang up in the update. It was on the boards this morning for the membership, the subscriber base at Warchant. But now we put a video out on it. That's the limiting factor here is, according to the intel they're getting at the site, as long as there isn't a head coaching job that comes calling, then he's going to be the OC here. But if he does land a gig as the head man, he's going to take that. So that's where Florida State is. And that's where, again, it's nice to have the jump on the market, but before the season's over, a lot of things happen at the 11th hour. So you do have to keep it in neutral just a little bit.
Who's his agent?
Oh, what?
It's everything. It's everything. Is it Sexton?
Probably.
Probably. All right, Jimmy. Your bread's buttered over here with Mike to the tune of 10 million plus.
He's got bread everywhere.
I like this bread.
Yeah, I know you do.
I think he does too. This bread pays. Come on now. You got to help your boy out. One of your clients is a mess.
He's like, I got 6 more loaves in the oven. If this one goes bad, it goes bad.
Take pride in your bread, Jimmy. Take pride in your bread. It's on a very public stage, and it's crispy. Too crispy. Let's get some better bread in here. Send the right kind of butter to Tallahassee, not FAU. The dead-end job at FAU. Nothing going for you there, sir. Look how many coaches they've had in the last 10 years alone. Take it up to Tallahassee. Let's go. Save this bread. This bread's worth saving. Nobody cares what you do at FAU. I don't know how Jimmy can spin it. One's a head coaching job, the other's an OC.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm kidding.
But if this is such an opportunity, if you were to take an offense that's going to average, I don't know, you think it's going to be 15, 16 points by the end of the year? It all depends on what they do on Saturday. It's going to help their total. If you can take that and double it in a year, if you can get up to 30 points a game off of what we're doing right now, you could write your ticket. Write your ticket. You could be here for 1 year. It could be that short of a stint. And I'm sure that's what he's thinking. I mean, he moves. You listed his resume. He's 37, so he's crammed all of those moves in.
Yeah, to a short period of time.
A very short period of time.
In fact, if you want to know, he started in 2011. He's at West Valley Community College, coaching wide receivers. So from 2011 to right now, he has packed it all in, where the successes have mounted and the star has risen. Hasn't stayed in any one place very long, that's for sure. 2011, he's at West Valley. 2012, he's at a high school, the Harker School in California. Then he's at St. Patrick Vincent High School in 2013. In 2014, he's a head coach in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania as a head coach. Then in 2015, he goes to Arizona State, where he's the offensive quality control assistant. Then he's at Oklahoma Baptist in 2016. In 2017, he goes to Howard, stays for 2 years. First time ever he's in the same place for more than a year. Then he goes in 2019 to William and Mary, stays 1 year as the offensive coordinator, goes to Hawaii in 2020, coaches the receivers. In 2021, he goes to Pitt, coaches the receivers. 2022, he goes to Texas, coaches the passing game and the receivers. 2023, takes the job at UNLV, currently high on the list to leave UNLV and go to Florida State. Man, I don't know if that says anything other than he's driven. I mean, does it make you nervous that my man has left everywhere he's ever been within 2 years?
I've got a little bit of juice from the Texas side. You know, we have some friendly connections over there.
Yeah, we do.
I've got some juice on the Texas side, and it's good. It's good. Sark thought of him as a mind.
Oh, right.
For the game.
Yeah.
And the information that I got was that his acumen, Marion's acumen for offensive play calling itself, installing a game plan, Sark said, bravo, because according to Sark, he doesn't have tendencies, which makes you all the more effective as a play caller.
Sure.
And he's more than happy to put an ego aside, and if these are the pieces I have, these are the pieces I work with. I'm not going to try and do my thing.
You know what's interesting is his resume and his path to this, and we'll see if we get him hired or not, or if he ends up being the next head coach at FAU or not. I don't know. There's a lot still to play out here, but if Florida State gets him hired, those talking points about acumen and being able to put together game plans at such a young age in the coaching business mirrors that of Mike Norvell. That's how Mike Norvell was thought of. Very young to be calling plays at Arizona State when he first got the opportunity, and then made the most of it very quickly. And soon he was rumored as an up-and-coming star in the business for those very reasons. And he was young and aggressive and all those things. I would think it would be like looking in a mirror. And that Mike would love that, would welcome that. He needs the help, but it's at a time in your career where you're at a crossroads. You want a superstar in the making. You want a guy on the rise to come in and lift all boats.
Well, and he's the one who left an imprint on Marion for that reason when they cross paths. I mean, Marion says that among the people,
right,
not just coaches, like he has larger coaching influences, and we got some audio to that end, but in terms of the people who influenced who he is today in the profession, Norvell is at the top of the list. So, it's not just about a mirror. I mean, it's a guy who models himself in some facets of what he does after Mike. But the thing I like about this resume, here's what I like about the bouncing around. So many different philosophies.
Yeah.
So many different ways to arrive at the same conclusion, which is to score points. I like that because that means if he is faced with an unusual problem, and make no mistake, this is unusual at Florida State, the problem we have on offense. But beyond the big picture thing, let's say it's a given week and you've got 2 injuries that you didn't see coming, and you're having to play one-handed, right, on offense. You don't have your dominant dribbling hand. He can make it work. He'll get a possession out of it. Like that's something that we are not seeing this year. That is something we do not have this year. Now, you could counter and say, because we don't have any players at all. All right, you hear this guy's story about some of the things he didn't have and what he was able to squeeze out of it. I like that. You're going to need that here because you're walking into a problem. You're not walking into a ready-made solution.
Yeah, you're walking into a house on fire, and I just hope the hose is strong enough to put it out because my man has got to come in here and flip this with the quickness. By the way, another thing I like about him? Since we're throwing out likes, Montreal Alouettes, buddy. My man played for the Montreal Alouettes. I'm a big Alouettes fan.
That's going to be your first question when you get a one-on-one.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down and talk a little Alouettes football with him. He's going to be like, is this the Florida State guy? I'm going to sit down in the room. I'll have my Florida State gear on. Thanks for doing the interview. So Montreal. That's the lead question for my man. All right, we'll get to those picks momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, Redemption Thursday, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This announcement is brought to you by Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey.
If you're driving right now, you should know there's an 80% chance that the cars all around you don't carry any bodily injury insurance. Most people don't realize it, but in Florida, all the law requires is that drivers carry property damage insurance. This means that the texting teen drifting over into your lane or the drag racer on your rear bumper have no way of compensating you or your loved ones when they cause a crash. And this should scare the hell out of you. Fortunately, there's an easy way to protect your family from this, and it's called uninsured motorist coverage. It's an absolute must, but a lot of insurance companies are convincing folks to drop it just to save a few dollars. Take it from the personal injury experts. Don't. At Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey, we've recovered millions of dollars in uninsured motorist coverage in crashes where our clients would have otherwise received nothing. So please, call your agent right now and make sure you have uninsured motorist coverage on your policy. We hope you'll never need it, but we'll be here for you if you ever do. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Don't settle for less.
Lawson & Lawson Electrical Services has been Tallahassee's preferred residential electrician for over 30 years. Hi, this is Rowdy Lawson, and we've earned our reputation because we care about our customers, about quality, and about providing great service. We stand by every job we do and consider it a privilege to work on a family project like a new house, a custom addition, or a green renovation. For all your residential or service projects, call the good guys, Lawson & Lawson Electrical Services, 562-4111.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless in zero gravity. All of the weight and worry of life is melted away, and you fall into a state of profound relaxation. This is what you'll find at Tallulah CBD Mushrooms THC in Railroad Square when you try out their state-of-the-art floating pods. While you're there, shop for the best quality CBD, mushrooms, THC, and kava products available. Shop Tallulah today with 6 locations in Tallahassee and the Kava Bar Lounge in Bannerman Crossings. Online at TallulahSmokes.com.
The best happy hour in the city is at Café de Martín and El Bar. All day, every day, you can find great deals at Café de Martín while enjoying the best outdoor seating Tallahassee has to offer. Sip away on 2-for-1 house wines, chilcanos, and margaritas all day long, Monday through Thursday. Plus 2-for-1 pisco sours and margaritas on Fridays and Saturdays, and 2-for-1 mimosas for Sunday brunch. Come join us at Café de Martín, where every hour is happy hour, in the Esposito Shopping Center on Capitol Circle Northeast.
Know your body and transform your life with DexaFit Tallahassee, your go-to for science-backed health insights. Their DEXA scan gives you the most accurate body composition available, measuring bone density, muscle mass, in both subcutaneous and visceral fat. Get the data you need to track progress and make real changes. Your VO2 max is the best indicator of health and longevity, but it offers more than just a number. It shows respiratory function, calories burned at different intensities, and whether your body burns fat or carbs, helping you train smarter. DexaFit's RMR test reveals how many calories you burn at rest and the type of fuel your body uses, so you can dial in your diet for weight loss, muscle gain, or maintenance. And their red light therapy soothes sore muscles, reduces inflammation, and rejuvenates your skin. Right now, get a DEXA scan and red light therapy for just $99. That's a $184 value. Call 850-510-7728 or visit DexaFit Tallahassee's website to book. Know your body and transform your life this fall with DexaFit. Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
You know, I didn't even mention, and I should have. I got all caught up in the offensive coordinator stuff. There are rumors about the defensive coordinator as well. And I will point out that one of those is a name that I like. We've kind of talked about him more than once. Now, this has been a bit of a lost year at his particular establishment, if you will. They've been weird, so I don't know what to read into who they are this season. But the candidate that I'm referencing is Brad White, the defensive coordinator, a defensive coach with Kentucky. He's coached with Mark Stoops, and I feel like Kentucky does a lot more with less. typically on defense. And we've seen them engineer some things that are very impressive, including this year against Georgia early in the year, that 13-12 game. He may want to get out from under Mark, call a defense on his own, and get a fresh start somewhere. He's been with Mark a long time at Kentucky. So this could be, it's a possibility. We don't know. His is a name that has been out there.
It's one of those deals where you would hope, at least speaking for myself at least, history would repeat itself, because Mark Stoops' impact on this program and on this defense when he was here in Tallahassee was immediate. It wasn't sexy, but man, was it effective. And we have not recruited defensive ends since the Mark Stoops time anywhere close to the level that that group did. Now, I know that it wasn't just Mark, but it was his side of the ball, and they put in a 4-down lineman look defensive ends in a position to be playmakers.
To eat.
We've had some good players since then.
Yeah.
Quite a few from the transfer portal.
Mostly.
Some not. Brian Burns is still kicking ass in the NFL. Didn't see that one coming. But we had 4 and 5 dudes for multiple years there. When Dan Hicks was one of the worst guys you have in the rotation, that dude was good.
Mm-hmm.
But it was because you had Tank and Bjorn and Brandon Jenkins. Man,
Tank was incredibly underrated.
Yeah.
He was a really good player. Yeah, I like Brad White. And when I heard his name mentioned, I went, okay. And then, I thought about something. I went back and looked it up. I was right about this, not as in a predictor way of describing it, but just I thought, I was like, Brad White, didn't he have a long experience or a decent run in the NFL? And he did. He coached with the Colts for 5 years. So there's a guy that's got NFL ties. You listen, to keep your job in the National Football League for any length of time, you better be really good at what you do. And you have to be respected by the players. These guys kind of run the ship in the NFL. And, I had a 6-year run, I think, with the Colts. So anyhow, I think that tends to resonate to high school kids. You got an NFL guy, possibly, and a guy that's been in the SEC as well and had success. So that could be, if they get him, that would be huge. We'll see if that's what's going to happen. I will say this, Tom, that we don't know, and I was doing some more checking here on Brennan Marion. The ties that you are wondering about to the state or in recruiting, there really isn't any with him at all to Florida. So you're going to have to, when you put together your staff, you're going to have to supplement somebody in there with
that. That is the one thing where at least the whispers I heard from Texas, and it's people who have connections to the staff. It's one of those rare things. I'm not a Rolodex for this stuff, but when you have it and this situation presents itself, you got to share. They weren't in love with him as a recruiter. I know.
Yeah, some guys are just great play callers, great offensive designers.
They love the organization, the acumen, the motivation, like all of those things. When it comes to organizing the room, getting everybody ready to go, having them understand their assignment on the field.
Yeah, play fast.
Very good at
Imagine
all of that. Not be predictable. Like all those things all matter. They were all right with him. He was okay as a recruiter, but he wasn't one of those, cold-blooded killers. Now, the difference is more people know his name at this point.
So it might end up being one of those things,
Reputation can help you in recruiting.
Oh, yeah.
Before it's who are you? You're here. Oh, you're here because Sark wants you here. But, the relationship thing at that time 2 years ago, they were like, we like him more in the organizational ranks than as a installation guy.
But think about this, Tom. I do think that it couldn't have hurt to have seen it firsthand what big boy recruiting looks like at Texas.
Oh, for sure.
To have that experience where maybe that's not your forte. That's not what you're known for. You're known for these other things that we've already described, but you get immersed in it and you learn from it. And now you got an opportunity to apply the things that you learned at Texas to right here at Florida State. Maybe he hits the ground running. His reputation has grown in that short period of time that he's been away. Maybe he comes into Tallahassee and is a much better recruiter than he was when he first had the chance at Texas.
As long as he wants to hit the trail, that's a start.
Yeah, you got to want to work.
You got to want to do it. You got to want to reach out to kids. But then when you get them on campus and you show them the clips, the cut-ups of what you've done and how at every level you've been at, your quarterback is decorated, and your downfield threat is rewarded with targets. Like those kinds of things resonate very, very quickly. And again, he's recruiting off of somebody else's reputation, and they have to memorize his name. Now they know his name when he walks through the door. I'm not trying to hedge and be a PR agent. All I'm saying is that's kind of a fluid situation, but there is no doubt that when he was coming up through the ranks before he got this UNLV job, the mind of an offensive coordinator was respected by, I mean, how many names would you list higher than Sark in terms of offensive football right now in the game of college football? If that guy gives you the okay, yeah, man.
Let's see what he does. I'm still worried, of course, about the whole FAU thing. That's more than anything something that, hey, look, man, if he's a guy that's a finals candidate for FAU to be the head coach, we could get as excited as we want, but probably not going to get him. I mean, if he gets that job, he's going to take the head coaching gig.
Yeah.
A lot of names have been attached to that FAU job.
Well, it's also one of the weird things. I'm glad that Florida State went to market, and we talked about that, but usually these whispers that we catch, well, he could be offered that job, and if he is, then he won't take this job. Usually all of those things, those back and forth details, occur over the span of 12 hours, 24 hours. The agent has to work the phone very, very quickly, and you have to make the decisions in a snap, in a flash. Now, with the way things are with the recruiting calendar, you've got weeks for this to play out, potentially. Weeks.
So there have been many names. It just so happens yesterday we had this conversation surrounding Tom Herman having been fired after his 5th straight loss, and we said, well, Charlie Weiss Jr., Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator at the University of Miami, Jawan Sider, Penn State's assistant head coach and co-OC, Buster Faulkner, Georgia Tech's OC, Brennan Marion was already mentioned. Pat Surtain was mentioned. Georgia assistant head coach Todd Hartley was mentioned. Jonathan Patke from that's Manny Diaz's protege at Duke was mentioned as a possible candidate. And former All-Pro and Pro Football Hall of Famer Jason Taylor, Miami defensive ends coach, is also being mentioned as a possibility.
This is for, the FAU job?
The FAU job. All names that are being mentioned. So my point, the reason I told you all of those names, Ray Lewis was mentioned. At first they denied it at FAU. Then later on they came back out and said, okay, yeah, we'll give him a call. We'll talk to him. It was weird. It was weird because Ray Lewis's name came out yesterday a lot. And so much so that it gained traction, and FAU felt the need to comment on it. Like, no. And then after they said no, they were like, well, maybe. Almost like they didn't want to offend them. I don't know. It was interesting. Doesn't sound like he's their top candidate. Let's put it that way. The FAU job has been used as a stepping stone by countless people. No doubt that's what Tom Herman wanted to do, was to try to resurrect his coaching reputation by taking that job much the same way that so many others have before him, including Lane Kiffin.
Right. That's I see in the chat it's a dead-end job. I don't know, man. Lane Kiffin parlayed that into a nice gig for himself.
Yeah, well, lots of people see that job as, I'll take that job because it's in a sexy area to recruit. It's seen as a school that has some money. They care. They want to win. They want to build their program. They're invested in football. And so you get to go and live in a nice place, great weather. You've got access to the region that is talent rich. So you can go there and at that level win some football games. If you have any measure of success at all, somebody comes calling and you're like, yeah, FAU at this juncture of their career, of their arc, their football playing arc, knows exactly what they are. That is not a place where you go to retire. It's, well, the workforce in America does, not head football coaches. They go there to parlay it into something else just by having some success. We'll see if it ever ends up being a destination.
Yeah, the only guy who did was Schnellenberger, right?
Well, he started the program.
Yeah.
He ushered it in, yeah. And he was 1,000.
One last go round.
Yeah. So when my buddy
hoot,
when my buddy played at Louisville for Schnellenberger, he's had legendary stories about Schnellenberger, and I know some of these. Of course, for those that are too young to remember, Schnellenberger won the '83 national championship with the Miami Hurricanes, their first, and he put Miami football on the map. It was a useless program that nobody paid any attention to. Schnellenberger went there, turned them into the team that they became in the legend of Miami Hurricane football. And back in '83, I think the whole state rooted for Miami to win that game against Nebraska. And Nebraska went for 2. If they'd kicked the extra point, they would have won the national championship with a tie. But to their credit, they went for 2, didn't get it. Miami won the national title. Anyhow, Schnellenberger became a legend because of it, right? And he was one of these folksy guys. I met Schnellenberger more than once, by the way. He was hilarious. Big hands, gruff voice, huge mustache, smoked cigars, and drank whiskey. And he smoked cigars and drank whiskey in the middle of the afternoon at practice. It was a different era, Tom. It was a different era. But he was like one of those guys you could belly up with and enjoy the conversation with that voice. You'd be like, my man's had 14 of these. I don't see any sign that he's back.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see any sign.
Which makes you question, was he ever sober? Right? Because that's the thing, is I haven't seen any change. So wait a minute. Did he come in
Has he always been blitzed?
as a loaded gun?
I swear, at some point, I'll give you these picks. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Daytime highs approaching 61 this afternoon under clear skies, northwest winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, 43. Highs level off around 60 tomorrow, bright sunshine. Clear skies and dry Saturday and Sunday, mid-60s. Saturday, upper 60s by Sunday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 61 degrees.
Don't miss TSC Tuesdays every Tuesday morning at 7:30 a.m. during the Greg Tish Show. Find out what's happening at Tallahassee State College every Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3 FM.
Trying to head out on our annual guys fishing trip. Wait, where's Jimmy?
He just texted me saying he has to swing by his storage unit to get a couple of things. And now there's a truck blocking him in, and he won't be here for another hour.
That wouldn't have happened if he had just called Southeast Portable Buildings and got a unit right on his property.
I love mine. I have so much more space in my garage. Now I can finally park my truck in there.
Give them a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400. Or visit them online for all their options at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Sunday, the Bucks are back from the bye and looking to end their 4-game losing skid when they sail into MetLife Stadium for a battle with the Giants.
Robin Baker throws a sideline route. It is drop ball. The guy draped all over it. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Fire the cannons. Get it going.
Pregame at noon. Kickoff at 1.
What a remarkable catch by Evans.
Hear it live on the Buccaneers Radio Network.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean, you know.
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
This is Brian Kilmeade, and I'm excited to be on the air in the capital city. Be sure to tune into my show. I'll be giving you all the latest news, information, and the truth you demand. The Brian Kilmeade Show is live from 9 till noon, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
But I will warn you, some people will love these hires if they happen and celebrate them in a way that makes you think without without fail that they're going to be great hires and they're going to do great things for Florida State. Others will be furious that it's not the guy they wanted. And none of us know. None of us know. I keep going back to it's a little bit like drafting quarterbacks. It's a little bit like drafting quarterbacks where you got a guy that you're like, oh, like the resume.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. That's how, when you have that guy, you draft him in the first round. That's it. He's the one.
Well, and you never, you can go years without knowing. You go like 2-3 years and still be like, I don't know.
I was
maybe.
Say, and then Mitch Trubisky takes the field for his fourth game.
But
and
nobody thought only the Bears. Nobody else thought Mitch Trubisky was going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. Just like none of us thought Daniel Jones was going to be any good in the NFL, and he's not.
Did they trade up for Daniel Jones?
Yes.
They did?
Well, I just remember
Chicago traded up for Trubisky.
I just remember Bill sitting there going, we're gonna do it. We're gonna draft Daniel Jones. We're gonna do it.
Like hours beforehand, days beforehand, weeks beforehand.
Yeah.
And then it happened.
And we're sitting right next to him.
What had happened? He's like, I knew.
Don't
look for a rise out of me.
Giant organization was gonna take this sorry ass.
This is who we are.
He wasn't wrong. Have you seen the clip that's gone around of
extended him?
Well, yeah. Gave him a raise. Have you seen that awesome clip? I'd forgotten about this. The Giants on Hard Knocks. Did you see the clip where the guy that's the assistant to the GM and they're all in the room and he's like, are we sure that nobody's going to pay Saquon? Because, he's really good. He's like trying to convince them to hold on to Saquon Barkley and not trade him. And the guy that's above him goes, nobody's paying a running back. Nobody's paying. Who else is out there that's going to pay him? He's like, well, he's kind of special. He's a playmaker. You can hear him. It's so sad.
So it's funny because there is a campaign for rewriting history on this. I saw an interview of Tom Pelissero on Rich Eisen's show. So it's NFL Network. Clearly, that means that if an owner calls you, you're going to speak for the owner. And Pelissero's out there saying, the Giants offered him a ton of money. The Giants offered him a ton. And he said no. And Saquon knew how this was going to look when he told them no. Okay. So the Giants are so afraid because their conclusion, their pivot point was, let's just extend Daniel instead. Let's use that money from Saquon and move it over to Daniel.
Ooh.
They know there's no coming back from that. So right now there's a campaign out there to make sure that the history books properly tell somebody's side of the story about whether or not the Giants were trying to invest in Saquon.
I would tell you that the mistakes that are made in the NFL at the highest levels by GMs and coaches show you just how volatile all of this is. It's weird. There aren't too many professions where you reach the top of a profession, you shine a light at the top of the profession, and then you as a football fan and me as a football fan and whatever amount of playing experience we have for everybody listening out there or who engages in this male soap opera. It's no longer male soap opera. It's everybody's soap opera. Women love football too. But we all have an opinion on players. We all have an opinion on franchises. We all have an opinion on coaches, and we thus pay attention to the comings and goings of said players and coaches, right? And GMs. In no other way do I look. I don't ever look at a physics professor somewhere and go, he's shaky. He doesn't know what he's doing. This guy. We could get a better physics professor in here. This guy's ass. The only people who could are other physics professors, probably, right? I never look at like the CEO of name your Fortune 500, right? And go, I don't think he's that sharp. I don't see it.
I ask myself, how many bodies are they responsible
for?
Sure.
Yeah, if you're a billionaire, I ask that question too. But the point would be you're sitting there looking and you go, this guy, I think he's faked it all the way to the top. I don't think he knows anything. I think we could do a better job than that guy. I think Coca-Cola is being run poorly. So anyhow, we don't do it in any other walk of life, really. Not in a way in which you could then turn around and say you have as good a shot of being right as that person does about whatever that day's decisions are or lesson plan is. Whereas in the NFL, Tom, I can say that many of us have about the same shot from a percentage standpoint of being right when we judge first-round quarterbacks as GMs and coaches do. It's around 50%. That's the hit rate.
I largely agree with you, but I think our society has devolved to a place, and I'm glad the hour's coming up, where we're in idiocracy, and a lot of people think that specialists don't know jack.
Well, right. I understand
We're
that.
going to that place.
No, but I'm saying
the NFL GM is everything.
But what I'm saying is I really do. Yes, that's fine. But I do believe, by the way, Tom, that we are probably in the ballpark of getting it right with our guesses over the years on the Jeff Cameron Show at quarterbacks.
I was never sick. I don't have cancer.
Hour number 2 forthcoming.
This is Rudy Ferguson, pastor of New Birth Tabernacle of Praise. Be encouraged, stand still, and watch God move with your morning word with Pastor Ferg. It's something God wants to share with you. Tune in every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. with the morning word with Pastor Ferg. I believe it's going to bless you and keep you for the week to come. Right here on Real Talk 93.3.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Dream it, plan it, do it. Brian Barnard's Flooring America offers a straightforward way to shop with our streamlined shopping. Finding the right flooring is simple. Visit our newly remodeled showroom featuring the Room to Explore shopping experience, where our knowledgeable staff will walk you through the steps. Our family has been serving the area since 1976 with a local staff of more than 35 people trained in flooring sales and design. We know floors, and we know styles. Let us help make your home timeless. Brian Barnard's Flooring America, where friends send friends.
When I get home, I'm ready to Suede Pools and Spas and put that pool in the back. I call Suede Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up and run when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, batteries, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3 brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with two great locations in Tallahassee.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers receiver Mike Evans returning to practice yesterday. He was officially listed as limited. The team is hopeful that he's going to be able to play when they match up against the Giants this weekend. The Buccaneers have gone 0-3 since he has been out as a result of injury. NHL hockey, busy night tonight. The Tampa Bay Lightning, who have won 3 straight games, they are on the road for a matchup against Columbus, and the Florida Panthers, they visit Chicago tonight. NBA basketball yesterday, Magic lose to the Clippers 104-93. Magic on a back-to-back as they are set to take on the Lakers coming up this evening. This Sports Flash is brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun, and Gold, more than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Finding the perfect gifts for everyone on your list takes time, and the holidays can get a little busy. So let Macy's help you get a jump on your shopping with our Black Friday sale happening right now. It's your chance to find the best deals on the best gifts before the holiday rush, like cozy puffers and coats and more of the season's best styles. So get your gifts at Macy's now, and when you're cool, calm, and collected during holiday crunch time, you'll have yourself and Macy's to thank. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Do you lay awake at night worrying about what to buy everyone on your holiday list? Well, Skechers is here for a holiday rescue with hands-free Skechers slip-ins, the right gift for everyone on your list. Because with hands-free Skechers slip-ins, you just step into them and they're on. There's no bending down, no touching your shoes, no retying laces. Plus, Skechers slip-ins are perfect for everyone. Moms, dads, grandparents, kids, friends, coworkers. And they're the most comfortable shoes they'll ever wear. Find them for the holidays at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is.
Whoa! Check out Pinch a Penny. We're stocked to the rafters with Hot Spring Spas, a recognized leader. Imagine the fun of the holidays with warmth, relaxation, and lovely bubbles. Oh, it's 30 home spas for you to see right now. Affordable right now, too. Up to $2,000 off. Or special financing. Ask for details. Is the world stressing you out like that? Pinch a Penny. Now to assure these prices. Pinch a Penny, open 7 days a week on Career Road.
Tallahassee is full of rich history and traditions. When you think of things that jump out in the minds of longtime residents, the state capitol, McClay Gardens, the Springtime Tallahassee Parade, FSU and FAMU Sports, the St. Mark's Lighthouse, St. George Island, and Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Paul's has been protecting thousands of people, their pets, their homes, and their lawns in the capital region for over 50 years. Locally founded and still locally owned and operated. There aren't many businesses in our industry that keep it together that long. Paul's Pest Control has many customers we've been honored to serve for over the last 50 years. We've experienced tremendous changes in how we treat homes and protect the people that live there. We've moved from liquid termite treatments that require drilling into the home's foundation to Centricon, a baiting system which works with their natural biology. We've moved from interior service to exterior treatments for general pests. But one thing we're not going to change is our old-fashioned commitment to personal service for each of our customers, the same way we've been doing it for over 50 years.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too.
Call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
Science-backed, technology tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'll have to do it right here, this opening segment.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
So there's a little establishment that doesn't advertise with us that you know near where I live. It's a brewery, and they have good wines and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a band last night playing, and good one. And they were playing The Cult.
Really?
What people cannot hear right now on the Warchant TV
Yeah, they were
feed.
playing The Cult.
They were playing that particular song, and I'm wondering, Firewoman, are they fans of the show? That's a very obscure thing because it was the hits. It was a bunch of things you've heard a million times.
And then they went into that.
They broke into that, and it was good.
That's a hard song. I mean, that's okay. They pulled it off.
They pulled it off. You can hear it clear as day from where my deck is too. It's a clear shot of the audio.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
Maybe on a Wednesday, come on
Should
over.
have told your boy.
Well, I didn't know.
I'd have made my way over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's it. I've never heard that covered, by the way, so that would have been something to hear. I'm missing. I got to catch up. I haven't been checking any of the chat stuff. Hey, so really quickly, I went to another teaser, had a blast with it. Here we go. Fire those picks up. Let's go through them together. Bring me my money, Martha, or pay me, Martha. It's got to happen. Let's go. This is going to be a good week. We've been up and down. We got out at one point to like 7 games above 500, fell back down to 2. I got to check during the break where we are. Let's get through this year above. Let's win some damn money. Starting with SMU, taking care of business on the road against Virginia. We'll lay the 9.5. You got nothing to play for, Virginia. Lay down. SMU is going to do some things. Wake is getting 25, and while Miami will win that game comfortably, will they win by 25? Perhaps, but I think Wake will score some points. Miami's defense isn't good. And what do they need to score to keep it to within 25? 17?
Yeah, probably.
Right?
17-21. It just depends. Miami doesn't really need to do much of anything. This is not an at-large spot that they're trying to look good for. You just get out of Dodge with a win this week. Do the same against Syracuse next week, which is a dangerous game, so it could be a look-ahead spot. And then win the conference championship. This isn't about looking pretty. It's just about getting out of town with a win. Getting out of the neutral site that is their home stadium with a win.
I am also, by the way, sort of betting on the going through the motions easy win for Miami. They win by 21. They win by 24.
Right.
That's fine. Just don't win by more than 25.
That Hughes game's interesting next week. It'll be great that it'll be, in the lead up to our game at 7 or 7:30. Just a small aside.
7:30.
Yeah, we're doing a post-game show till 1 a.m.
You're pumped about that, I know.
I was thinking about doing something fun. Did I bring this up to you?
No.
I'm thinking about doing something fun to just put a nail in the coffin for the season. And we're workshopping some ideas. So maybe if you're feeling frisky and froggy at 11:30 midnight,
I'll jump on in.
Just to be there for maybe a toast, a send off.
Oh, a send off to this ass of a season? Sure.
Yeah.
I'll toast this thing being torched. Ready to move on.
You got a neighbor who's got a blowtorch?
No.
I'm trying to find something that we could do that would be fun. Like
burn the season in effigy?
Effigy's always a little bit strong.
Yeah, but it's a season. You just put up the season, 2024 FSU football season.
There's a mutual friend of ours that when some baseball changes were going, he was talking about how one of our former head coaches in baseball, short list, he goes, I remember hanging him in effigy. And I was like, you did what?
in the world?
Goes, yeah, I did.
I know who he is.
I'm like, whoa.
No, that's not normal. That's not normal. Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah, it's not normal.
Let's no.
Fans are weird, man. Fans are weird.
That's a lot of hate.
It's crazy because the whole thing about being a fan and having opinions in sports is that you're going to get, you're going to get a lot right, a lot wrong, and everything in between. You're going to be passionate about all of it, and you're going to remember when those that you argue with are wrong. You won't remember when they're right, and you'll forget when you're wrong, and you'll sure as hell remember when you're right. That's how all that works.
Glove save and a beauty.
You like that one? What are the lighting? 10 and 7?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think that's right.
Advanced Metrics loves the team.
No, I like the team too.
Yeah.
All right, throw the picks back up. We got to get through these suckers. Let's do this thing.
Tied up thinking about somebody hanging somebody in effigy.
I want to hang the season in effigy, the 2024 season. The season up.
Whoa.
Tulsa and USF over 60.5. Hit the siren, Tom. You know better. That has to be a play.
That's a siren? All right.
I went over Tulsa and USF. Louisville Pitt under 57. Bama minus 13.5 against Oklahoma. And Southern Cal minus 4.5 against UCLA.
Yeah, not under.
Not under. Tom just said, screw it. I'm gonna type in something weird here.
That program is under. That's how you spell UCLA, UNDER.
I think they're 5-5. They're not good, but Double check it. Anyhow, NFL, listen, this has been a cash cow, and this will test your loyalty to what you've seen. Road Thursday night games are death to favorites. If you're the road team on a Thursday night, you end up looking nothing, especially if you're the favorite, nothing like yourself. That short week kills teams. The Steelers are much better than Cleveland. In fact, they're the opposite. They're 8-2, and Cleveland's 2-8. Why is that number 3.5? NFL.
Yeah, it's a walk-off.
I see you.
Yeah, 22-19, Pittsburgh.
I took Cleveland in the 3.5 because the Thursday road teams have all lost their ass once the season started moving and you got tired and you got beat up. And, hey, who did Pittsburgh just play? The Ravens. Came down to the final play. Hard fought, beat up, going on the road. Cleveland will be hyped. It's a rivalry game. Jameis, I'm talking to you, brother. Let's keep it to 2 or fewer. 2 or fewer picks, and we can get out of Dodge with that cover.
Need to weaponize our belief.
Weaponize not turning the ball over, Jameis. Let's weaponize that. Don't turn it over and cover that 3.5 tonight. It's a sweet payout. The NFL's screaming at you with this game. Detroit minus 7.5 against Indianapolis. Is Detroit the best team in the NFL? I think they're going to be the best regular season team in the NFL in the sense that, man, when you watch them, they are a joy. They are the funnest team to watch in the league. I worry about them in the postseason off the edge where they have lost 2 rush-ins, including, one could argue, one of the 2 best in all the NFL. And you got to get after a passer in the postseason. I worry about them because every Detroit fan in America is going to feel like that team is going to win the Super Bowl, that they're that close. But if you can't get after the passer, playing good teams in the playoffs now, it could be a long day. And here you go. We're back with the teaser pleasers, baby.
I can feel it all the way down.
Teased the Lions to +1. I teased the Commanders down to -2, and I teased the Chiefs down to -3 against Carolina. Put them together for a 3-team teaser pleaser at +100. Drop the bag. Pay me, Martha. Let's go. Those 3 are cashing it. Yeah, I can.
Even money.
I may end up with, I don't know, 5 teasers this weekend.
Oh, my.
I just may do it. I'm feeling it. There's games that scream for teases.
We're all back at middle school dances.
Remember how excited you got to go to a middle school dance?
Ready to puke going to a middle school
That's
dance.
the craziest thing.
Yeah.
So my kids, I have a junior in high school and now a freshman in high school. And one of them loves all these things like homecoming and all that stuff. The other one couldn't care less. Has been, but doesn't really care. Is like, yeah, whatever. The younger one, oh, can't wait. Can't wait. Crazy hair, big time suit, gaudy everything. Goes, dances it up, does it all. I have polar opposite children.
Yeah, I had phases. Middle school dance was humongous.
Biggest deal in the world, right?
Oh
yeah.
my.
Middle school dances, yeah.
And you kind of doing the math on I had a class of 30. So
small.
You're doing the math on the 3 or 4 girls that everybody likes, and
Yeah,
the pecking order amongst
everybody's
those
gonna ask
guys.
it, yeah.
And so, how many slow songs are there going to be? When's it my time to cut in? Should I get it out of the way now? Is it better to do it later because it's awkward early? So you let somebody take a bullet, so you're doing all that math. That was harrowing stuff. And then freshman, sophomore year of high school, couldn't have cared less about homecoming. Really didn't care. Circle around towards prom, junior, senior year, mattered again. Oh, yeah, well, I mean, come on. Of course it does.
Junior, senior year really matters because
Of course it does. Yes.
you might be able to cash in your chips.
A gentleman never tells.
I'm just saying. You were just pretend betting back in the day, but by the time you're a junior, senior, you might be able to cash your
The
chips.
thing was, I feel like the middle school dance there were higher stakes, even though there weren't by
It felt
definition.
like it because you were just starting to kiss girls. It was like a big to-do. Your life was in the balance, Tom Lane.
It was.
You had to tell your friends. I mean, you had to call
hand
your
placement
buddies.
on a slow dance.
Oh,
my God.
Is that a hip or an ass?
Right.
Where we at here,
Right.
guys?
Was
And you
that-
had all of
was
the
that a-
teachers watching carefully.
Was that appropriate? Am I in an appropriate place?
Yeah. Did you go to cotillion?
She digging it? Cotillion?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's stupid. It's a formal dance school that you go to.
Oh,
I did
no,
cotillion. Yeah, we had to do cotillion.
We were just listening to slow Backstreet Boys.
No,
songs.
I'm not talking about the middle school dance. I'm talking about like we actually went to cotillion. You had to learn how to dance properly.
Oh no.
Yeah. I did it. Sucked.
Interesting.
Although I will say the 1 year was pretty good. It was a cute girl that was my partner.
She now the mother of your children?
No,
No, of course
no.
not.
I did not know her in middle school.
Of course
Did not
not.
know my wife in high school. I did not know my wife in college. No, and no.
Probably a good thing.
I'm sure. I mean, yeah, no. Nobody at 21 makes good decisions. Nobody.
Except you listening out there that married your college sweetheart. Of course you did.
Hey, I knew you'd like this, and it's we're rounding out the opening segment here to hour 2, and we'll get back to the coordinator talk here in a second. I thought you'd like this because we both love him, and he's a quirky bastard, and he looks goofier than hell, but I admire him greatly, and we should all be so lucky to have the run that he's had, but it's coming to an end, and we should acknowledge it. This will be Hubie Brown's last broadcasting moments for ESPN this year. We don't know when. He hasn't broadcasted yet, but they're going to give him a send-off and do one last broadcast for him. They finally told him to hit the bricks. This sounds a little – I didn't like the way this read at first. He deserves more respect than this. ESPN president Burke Magnus revealed today that, quote, we are going to give Hubie one last shot on a game.
What?
No, you're not doing Hubie favors. That's not how you say this. I know you misspoke. I'm going to let you slide on that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Show some respect to Hubie. He goes on to say he deserves that. Yeah, he deserves better than what you just said there. He did and follow up and say we think the world of him. It's remarkable the level in which he still calls games at 90-plus years of age. I don't want to be purposely mysterious here, but we're going to honor Hubie during the regular season at some point to be determined, and we'll send him off in style. So Hubie Brown is 91 years old. He coached Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson. He coached against Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. He called games featuring Giannis and Victor Wembanyama. Think about what he's seen in the world of basketball. He got his start in broadcasting in 1980, teamed up with Al Albert on the USA Network.
Al Albert?
Al Albert.
Oh, my God.
He was fired as the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks at that time. There were coaching returns along the way. He did 5 years with your New York Knicks from 82 to 87.
I remember it well.
He did 3. You were not born until the last year he was on the hardwood. 3 with the Memphis Grizzlies from 02 to 05. But more than that, he's been the soundtrack to the NBA for 5 decades. It's incredible. He became a full-time analyst for CBS in 87, moved over to TNT in 90 when CBS lost the broadcasting rights. Went on to say recently, I don't feel like I'm 90-plus years old. He was named the Media Person of the Year a year ago. A couple of different outlets chose him. Quote, I don't get up in the morning and say, geez, I'm 90 years old. What am I going to do today? I'm 90 years old. I come downstairs. I get my manila pad out. I have a list of all the things I want to do that day. Then at night, I have a list of which games I'm going to watch. Then during the games, I'm going back and picking some things out I want to talk about. It's always for the love of the game every day. How cool is that? And, of course, he breaks out the manila pad.
Mm-hmm.
Got to. I have them around the house, and I always remember them being chock full of my stepdad, who's an attorney, his cases and his ideas, and he would write everything out on a manila pad, and I'd go in his den. He had a den, and it smelled like pipe smoke because he smoked this kick-ass pipe, and it was the best tobacco ever. It was like this cherry, sort of smoky, mapley. It was awesome. I loved it. I loved when he smoked a pipe. In fact, when my mother started kicking him out of the house to smoke the pipe, I said, no, let him smoke in the house. Let him smoke in the house. It's fantastic because pipe smoke's so much better than cigarette smoke. It's just awesome. But he would sit in his den and dictate on his little recording device, and he would, what's that thing called? The little ones.
Yeah, voice recorder.
Yeah, but it's very specific, the brand. Anyhow, and then he would write everything down on the manila folder. I was like, well, that's what grown-ups do. They have manila folders. All adults have yellow manila folders, and they walk around writing down important things at all times. Things that involve things that I don't understand yet because I'm 10. And they're paying things, and they're getting paid, and they're writing it out, and they're going to tell the bank about it. That's what I believed. And so when I read that story today about Hubie with the manila folder, I'm like, yes, of course he does.
Yeah, Hubie,
he's not using an effing laptop.
No, Hubie's handwriting is perfect as well. Has to be.
Script, as your dad would say, right?
It's not cursive, it's script.
Script. So anyhow, Hubie's been working about 15 to 20 games a year for the last 3 years, slowing down. Kept getting 1-year contracts from ESPN at the end of every year. This year, they're like, we're going to call it a day, Hubie. Call it a day. I bet you when we listen to him, whenever that announcement comes and he does that final game, he's going to be sharp.
He'll be more competent than 90% of sports talk radio across this country.
Well, without question. He'll be awesome. He always is. I mean, if you watch NBA games that Hubie Brown's calling, you learn something.
Yeah. You don't think about how old he is.
No, not at all. You think about how – now – every now and then the camera pans and I see his eyes shooting off to the sides and I start chuckling because it's the goofiest damn thing. But it's endearing and cute and it's hilarious. But he is speaking genius level basketball strategy every time that he has to make a point about a player. And it's sometimes simple. Like it's a pick and roll. And he's like, now let me talk to you about this for a second. And then it's boom. He gets into like 14 different variations of how that play could be run and why. Like, well, that is fantastic. I had no idea. Thanks, Hubie. You're going to make me watch the Pistons tomorrow, and I don't even care about the Pistons. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
There's no
This is Alex from Farmers. We know that you want to get the most value for the money you spend this holiday season. That's why we're discounting all of our gold and silver jewelry by 50%. All diamond earrings, pendants, and charms. Popular items like gold chains and necklaces. Even all wedding sets and engagement rings are discounted by 50%. At Farmers, we make your dollars go further. Shop early for the best selection, and don't forget to ask about our great layaway plan. Farmers, 2 times more than you might expect with 2 great locations. As you probably know, Farmers buys, sells, and loans on just about anything of value. What you might not know is that when you buy something from us, we guarantee the total satisfaction of your purchase. Buy it, take it home, and if for any reason you decide you don't want it within 7 days, Farmers will give you 100% of your money back. And if you decide you don't want the item within 30 days, Farmers will let you exchange it for something you do want. At Farmers, we guarantee you're going to be happy with your purchase or we'll buy it back. Farmers, check cashing, pawn service, and sales. 2 times more than you might expect with 2 great locations.
Dream it, plan it, do it. Brian Barnard's Flooring America offers a straightforward way to shop with our streamlined shopping. Finding the right flooring is simple. Visit our newly remodeled showroom featuring the Room to Explore shopping experience, where our knowledgeable staff will walk you through the steps. Our family has been serving the area since 1976 with a local staff of more than 35 people trained in flooring sales and design. We know floors and we know styles. Let us help make your home timeless. Brian Barnard's Flooring America, where friends send friends.
Know your body and transform your life with DexaFit Tallahassee, your go-to for science-backed health insights. Their DEXA scan gives you the most accurate body composition available, measuring bone density, muscle mass, in both subcutaneous and visceral fat. Get the data you need to track progress and make real changes. Your VO2 max is the best indicator of health and longevity, but it offers more than just a number. It shows respiratory function, calories burned at different intensities, and whether your body burns fat or carbs, helping you train smarter. DexaFit's RMR test reveals how many calories you burn at rest and the type of fuel your body uses, so you can dial in your diet for weight loss, muscle gain, or maintenance. And their red light therapy soothes sore muscles, reduces inflammation, and rejuvenates your skin. Right now, get a DEXA scan and red light therapy for just $99. That's a $184 value. Call 850-510-7728 or visit DexaFit Tallahassee's website to book. Know your body and transform your life this fall with DexaFit. Science-backed, technology tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Redemption Thursday rolling on. I blame Tom for that.
For what? Nobody heard a thing.
Yeah, Mario, you're right, by the way. I never thought Hubie was ever a potential old dude who says crazy things that get him fired candidate. That's usually what happens with announcers as they get older, because society is always changing. Norms are always changing. And so then, you know, some things that you could say in 1985, you can't say in 95, that you can't say in 2005, that you can say in 2015 and 25 and on. And we watch people who are malleable and they're able to kind of figure it out and, you know, still do their thing. But then, obviously, there are those that don't. And you look at Bob Knight, for example, and you go, oh, this isn't going to end well. Bob is going to challenge somebody to a fight in the broadcast. He's going to say something crazier than hell, sexist, racist, I don't know, but it's going to be something absurd. And he's going to act like it's nothing. And his announcing partner is going to go, oh, sweet Jesus, did Bob Knight just say that?
Well, and he's going to say it with full hatred in his heart. That's the other thing. It's like,
yeah, it's not going to be a simple mistake.
No,
it's going to be how he feels. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, you're going to go, ooh.
There's a lot of hard energy in just what he said there.
That's dark there. We got a problem on our hands. Can we get Usher Bob out of here?
I think Bob meant that with every fiber of his being. You know, some of us say, I don't mean that. I don't know why I said that. I was just so frustrated. No, Bob thought about it, and Bob believes what he just said.
You know, it's funny with that.
Unless it was Reese Davis.
Towards he loved him.
Always a pleasure, Reese.
Towards the end, when Bob was screaming at fans, I was like, oh, Bob, you're in the middle of a broadcast. Poor Fran Fraschilla. Trying to save Bob Knight's bacon. It was tough. Ron Franklin was awesome. All right, sweet cheeks. There are men up here talking about football.
Telling you, we've had a bit of a run there because that was, I think our game was his last one. It was Janine Edwards was on the sideline for that game.
I don't remember which sideline reporter it was that it was belittled.
It was Janine Edwards, but I don't know that it was our game because they were on the same team. They were on the same broadcast team. But I think our game with South Carolina was his final game as a play-by-play for ESPN. Interestingly enough, a few years later, we were Brent's final game. Different reasons.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Florida State ended some eras.
Brent was tired.
And then Dick Enberg was on the call for our first national championship.
You know, I don't remember. I was
in the stands.
I was in the stands with my dad down in Miami. So were the Bruno Mollies that OJ wore. But yes, I don't remember. I've never gone back and watched that game on television.
Oh, buddy.
The 93 game.
Yeah.
Well, I was frustrated as hell in the stands. I mean, that was.
That's when during COVID I asked you. So did people talk about clock management back then? The way they
buddy,
do now?
I used to get mad at Bobby for lots of things. Obviously,
That red zone possession is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Well, there's a bunch of dumb things on game day. Bobby wasn't really organized all that well. There were a lot of things that happened.
The percentage chance, especially today where there's more micromanagement, even though coaches get it wrong all the time. But the percentage chance that game ends with Nebraska attempting a field goal, given where we had the ball on the previous possession,
and the time and everything else, yeah,
it had to be under 1%. You had
to almost
invent a way.
Intentionally screw that up. It was crazy. Yeah.
Whoa.
And I remember thinking that the lump in my throat when they were lining up for that field goal, I remember thinking, if we lose this game, I mean, his career could go a whole nother direction. It's crazy. Like that by all rights, they should have blown Nebraska out. That was, when you saw Charlie under center, you're like, okay, this is what we're going to do here. Here we go. Knocked my mic out. I mean, my headset.
You didn't want to have to hear yourself say it.
Oh, but we didn't. And he did miss. And they did win the national championship. And it was a glorious moment. And I drove through the night because of our hotel reservation screw up in Miami. We leave the Orange Bowl. We're trying to find this place that my dad's buddy had booked, he thought, which he didn't. And there were no hotels to be found. And I got angry at the two of them. It's weird to think about. I was 22 years old. And so my dad was only 44. And I thought he and his friend were old and confused about how to book a hotel, that the world had passed them by. So I told him, get in the car. I'll drive us home. I'll get us back.
That doesn't sound like you at all.
I told him, get in the car. We're not staying in Miami. We'll be high on the euphoria of this victory, and I can at least get us to St. Pete. We'll crash there, and then we'll go to Tally the next day. It was weird times, man. Weird times. Thankfully, that national championship. There are a lot of people out there who remember, the kind of conversations. And it was weird because at that time, you had to get the monkey off your back. Bobby had to win the national championship, right? That was starting to be the conversation. And at that time, when he won it, we said the monkey jumped from his back and ran across and jumped on Tom Osborne's back because that suddenly became the big thing for Tom Osborne in Nebraska. Why can't you win the national title? You had great seasons. Well, we didn't know it, but Tom was about to, and he was about to do it again. And he was going to stake a claim, much like Florida State, Miami were doing at the time, that the 90s belonged to them and not the two elite Florida schools. Nebraska had a run for the ages, and thankfully one of those was against the University of Florida.
One of the great nights ever in college football history.
It's a lot of yardage. Tommy Frazier had a lot of yards. He's probably still tired. There's a lot of yards being amassed in that game. That was something to behold. I can still remember at that time, and you think when you're in it, and I try to remind myself of that now while we're in it. While we're in this dark, loathsome place, that when it's great, you better appreciate it because it won't stay that way. And when it's awful, you have to kind of remind yourself that it won't always be awful. And we say it all the time about golf. When you're playing great golf, you don't know how you ever played bad golf. When you're playing great golf, you don't know why a month and a half ago you were unsure if you could even make contact with the ball. When you're playing bad golf, you don't think you're ever going to play good golf again. You never do. You're standing over a ball lost, 7-iron in hand going, this thing feels foreign. I don't even know what to do. And, of course, neither's true. You're going to play good golf again, and you're going to play bad golf again. Such is life. And this team will win again, and they'll win big again. I absolutely believe in my lifetime that I'll see Florida State win another national title. Certainly doesn't feel that way as we sit here today.
I find that fascinating. You'd think that they will get all the way back to the top.
I think they'll win another one in my lifetime. Now, none of us know how long we're going to live. I could die tomorrow, and then I'll be wrong. But, if I live to the average in my family, then I'll make it into my 80s and 90s. I mean,
for God's sake, I would hope so.
Well, yeah. So if that happens, we've got a nice run. We got a nice run in a relatively short period of time. Who knows? Maybe the guy we're about to hire is a genius, and he comes in and Brennan Marion becomes the OC, and Mike Norvell's bacon is saved. And just like that, Brad White comes in as the DC, and we're triggering downhill, hitting people again. And it's a joy as we make it over to Hotel Indigo. We're frothing at the mouth to watch this vicious defense go dominate in the aerial assault that is to take place that late afternoon, and the Noles remain undefeated at 8-0 with big ones on the horizon. Soon that could all be happening. Could be happening within 2 years. I'd hesitate to say it's going to happen next year, but it could happen 2 years from now. And we'll look back at this conversation and this godforsaken season, and we'll chuckle.
Well, the hard part is we've been down before.
Oh, yes.
But many of us aren't alive for the last time Florida State was down quite like this. Old Biscuit understands in the chat. Good on you, Old Biscuit, for understanding how to use the chat. Old Biscuit has seen
some things.
Yes, he can get on the YouTube machine and he can type on it. And I thank Old Biscuit for his commitment
to
the
YouTube machine.
I mean, it can't be easy. I mean, what is that version of existence and media? What is that medium going to be when I'm Old Biscuit's age?
Well, you'll have to find out when you take your flying car to the office.
Right. Eventually, the flying cars. Yeah. It's just when you're in an unprecedented setting, you can't even, it's hard to think about the big picture of how historically bad this is. I know you documented yesterday in multiple ways how historically bad this is in the sport of college football.
It's rarely seen.
You can't focus on that. If you're on the tightrope, you just got to keep walking. I can't look down. But it's so hard at times not to look down and say, good God, this is the worst. But it can all be over soon, because if you bring in 3 or 4 very good offensive linemen and 2 offensive linemen that are okay, you immediately go from 2 wins to 6 or 7 at minimum. Just like that. I think it's that easy for Florida State to get back in the conversation of, I know, being in a bowl game. Fixing the offensive line will get you there. Just like that.
By the way, you brought up the tightrope, and I was thinking about the Walindas. Did you ever watch the documentary and see that old dude fall?
Yep. Wasn't he in South America? Central America?
Yeah. And he had enough time to know it was over.
Didn't he yell at his family? I thought he yelled something at somebody.
I don't know if he yelled. I know he fell and he grabbed the wire. Lacking upper body strength, I got to tell you. I mean, come on, my man.
Like in a mall?
We gotta do better than that. When he falls, go look it up, folks. You'll watch this old man, Carl Walinda, I think his name was, fall from the tightrope. And the thing about it is, as he starts to fall, that's not good. Probably going to end poorly. You can see he's going to die, as all tightrope walkers have to. But he doesn't do a good job of hanging on. I think most of us would have hung on for a little bit longer, if I'm going to be critical. It's just like this sorry-ass effort as he's going. I'm like, get a hold of that rope, my man. Your life is at hand.
Maybe he was thinking, I just need to make it look like I'm trying.
Oh, God, how dark is Tom Lang going? You're telling me that Carl Walinda falling to his death wanted it. No, it was his day.
I don't know that he wanted it. He might have been resigned to it. And he's like, you know what? It's been a run. It's all right. My knee was killing me anyway.
I don't know how anybody does any of that stuff, because I can't. Oh, the heights. When I watch these videos, he did it across Times Square. He did it across Niagara Falls. He did it across the Grand Canyon. He did it across all these places. And you're like, these are long walks. This isn't like, we're going 7 feet, which would be crazy enough. My man's walking a good distance across this canyon. Winds could come from all directions, Tom. You just don't know. And he's like, I got it. Thanks to this stick. I've got this stick. You can't get me, wind. Look at my stick. Ridiculous. How did that even become a thing? Hey, you know what we should do, Bob? What? We should put a really skinny rope, like a steel one, and hang it from about 1,000 feet and then grab a stick and walk across it. What do we need the stick for? Balance, of course. And then we're going to go across this wire to the other side, and you'll take pictures, and we'll call ourselves the Flying Melindas. What in the world?
It had to have been minus 5,000 people getting hammered at lunch in construction centuries ago. And it's starting that way.
Will you go out on the right? You go out on the rebar there,
getting hammered with the lunch pails of their time, wagering on would you do it? Would you do this? How about that? Would you dangle over the edge of this?
I never understood. Carl always dressed to the nines when he was doing the walk. He always had a tie and a button-down shirt and stuff. Carl, get you some joggers, baby, and a tank top or something. We got to be loose here. He's buttoned up. It's a profession. It's not a profession. You're walking across a rope. What are you doing? There's a pro way to do this. And then there's these slappies out here walking in socks. Not me. Dress shoes. Beautiful tie. Nice jacket. Why? What for?
Who's your least favorite tennis star? Agassi, of course.
Yeah. It's amazing. Tomorrow on the Jeff Cameron Show, for those of you who have heard me talk about Dexafit, Tallahassee, and wondered, I'd kind of like to do that. I'd like to do, I don't know, can I do? We're going to give away some freebies, one an hour, starting tomorrow. We'll do one in the first hour, one in the second hour, and one in the third hour. And I'll tell you all about it to start the show tomorrow, how you can call in or how you can text or email or whatever it might be to win. And you get a little gift certificate to make your way over there and see what I'm talking about. It's going to be pretty cool. And that's a huge value, to be honest with you. It is. I mean, it's a fairly expensive thing to do. And I loved it. I've done it before, and I really enjoyed it, what I learned. And I think you will too. But it's cool to give away 3 of them. That's going to be nice.
Nice little early holiday gift for everybody.
Mm-hmm. It's nice. Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Daytime highs approaching 61 this afternoon. Under clear skies, northwest winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, 43. Highs level off around 60 tomorrow. Bright sunshine. Clear skies and dry Saturday and Sunday, mid-60s. Saturday, upper 60s by Sunday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 62.
Homeowners, this is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I want to talk to you today about consolidating your debt. Are you struggling with your monthly expenses? Consumer spending and overall debt are reaching all-time highs, while homeowners are sitting on trillions of dollars in untapped equity in their homes. Don't be afraid to walk away from that 2% mortgage while you're paying double-digit interest rates on credit cards and lines of credit and drowning in debt. Let's talk about how we can consolidate your debt, lower your overall monthly payments, and potentially save you thousands of dollars in the process. Give me a call at 954-369-6171. Again, 954-369-6171. And this is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I'm at 954-369-6171.
Equal housing NMLR 373031.
Hey, fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families.
So if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yeah,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And,
I've never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe in
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Those picks will be posted again in the third hour. We'll also solve for the future, as we're wont to do. I will say that this solving for the future with ISF is going to be a fun one. We've got some video clips, audio, if you will, about the coordinator search and the candidates and some conversations and the like. You know, Tom, because I know that we've had these nuggets on the boards at warchant.com. I know Gene Williams posted some things. I know that Pete Nakos doing some things for the On3. And we saw some candidates that were considered to be fading. Ben Arbuckle, the OC at Washington State, Tulane's OC, Joe Craddock, who's good, rising from long shot to legitimate candidate, according to Pete Nakos, was UCF head coach Gus Malzahn. Does he just know he's about to be fired? Or
I guess that's what that's about.
Please, Lord, no.
I agree.
Please, God, no. I don't want to see it. No. That will make me sad. Don't do it, Mike. Brad White. Okay. All right. I like it. Feels good. As far as now, you know what happens is you get the fever. When you latch onto a candidate whose resume you kind of like, and you've read everything now about all these guys, and you deep dive all of them. You go back, you watch videos, you're looking at everybody. You're like, okay, let's see here. Well, Brennan Marion currently leads UNLV's 7th-ranked scoring offense in the country. They're 7-2. They never win at UNLV. This guy's got them kicking ass. Ben Arbuckle. I don't know anything about Ben Arbuckle. I know Washington State's having a fine season. What's up with Ben Arbuckle? Well, they're the number 8 scoring offense in the country, averaging nearly 40 points a game. At Western Kentucky back in 2022, his offense was ranked 7th nationally. Let me click on Ben Arbuckle. Let's see what we got with the old Arbuckle. And then you do the Mike Shanahan. All right, is he related to the Shanahans? Because they're all badasses. Is he connected in any way? Then you do I don't know, Chip Lindsey doesn't do it for me at North Carolina. I know Chip. What about Marcus Arroyo, Arizona State? Arizona State's having a good year for Dillingham. Let's take a look at it. Then you do Tommy Rees, and you go, no, I don't want Tommy Rees. Then you go Mike Bloomgren, former head coach at Rice.
All I know is Rice.
Knew it was coming. Florida State graduate, by the way, went over to Stanford, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I am correct about that. I interviewed him on SiriusXM and on the Jeff Cameron Show.
That is correct. Yeah,
friend of mine went to high school with him.
Boy, I know that he's coming from head coachville, USA, but that might be a good offensive line coach right there, who can also hit the trail and get some yeses. I would like that. I think of all the coaching hires for the staff, Bloomgren for O-line is the only one that I feel somewhat attached to right now. Otherwise, I'm let it play out, Steve.
Let it play out, Steve?
Yes, that's a certain type of
That's
guy.
my friend Steve. Who?
Yep.
Steve. Steve, let it play out.
That's right.
Nice guy.
If it's meant to happen, it will. Thanks, Steve.
Pick a score. Give me a score of Florida State Saturday. I gotta send it in to the report.
Oh, a different one than my own?
Yeah, give me another score you considered. I have no earthly idea how to pick this game.
All right, here you go. You get it. You get to choose yourself. But I'm gonna give you a range.
I like
38 points to 49. Pick one.
41.
41. Okay.
Oh my God.
So Charleston Southern's got 41. And then pick 7 to 21.
21.
41-21. There's your score.
Charleston Southern with the big win.
Oh,
they win by 20?
No.
Man, that's more than a cover. That's a conversation starter. That's a problem. Corey got mad when we were all arguing about this. Ira and I both said, look, man, there's losing like this guy has lost this year, and then there's losing to 1-10 Charleston Southern. It's a different kind of loss. And I have long said winning and losing, even if assumed one way or the other, bring feelings that go along with watching said win or loss play out. Even if you could have foreseen and predicted it, the actual playing of the game elicits emotion. And, buddy, if they lose at home to Charleston Southern, those that have been fervently arguing that Mike Norvell most assuredly deserves this opportunity he's going to be given next year because of the massive buyout on his contract, I bet half of them decide differently if they lose to Charleston Southern. They'll say, well, it doesn't really matter. It's just another loss in a sea of losses. What's the difference? So we're going to go 1-11 instead of 2-10. You're already mad, Jeff. You already think the season's a failure. You've already pointed out, just as we all have, the things that have gone wrong. What really would be different with just another loss? But you know deep down that a loss at home to Charleston Southern, who's 1-10 at a lower level of football, is an even more damning statement of how far gone this thing is. It resonates more than just a loss by 20 to North Carolina or somebody like that.
You're not going to catch an argument from me on that one.
I mean, that's absurd.
No, that I would be interested, as I said, to see in the top left corner where we see the multimedia metrics of how many different people are online from different sources, what those numbers would be. Because right now, I look forward to seeing everybody's going to be there for the post-game show. I don't know how much it's going to move you to be there, but we hope to see you there. Warchant Game Day post-game call and show. Built by T-Spark Enterprises. But if they lose, that number is going to be huge. And I don't want that. No, sir. Nope. I'd like a little routine post-game show. Maybe we'll talk more about the coordinators and the game itself. Nice day for Lawrence. I'm glad to see that. You know what? This is a nice little quasi send-off for Toafili. 19 carries, $142.
There we
3
go.
touchdowns.
I like to hear the sound of that, sir. That's beautiful.
And then, all right, we'll talk to you all next week. Everybody have a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and let's go catch some football. That's what I'm hoping.
Robert writes another 2 losses, and the feds may have to step in. Well, you got one coming, buddy. Just so you know, that this team ain't beating Florida. You taking Florida with the 10.5 against Ole Miss?
I'm shocked it's not on your board. Did you consider it?
I did. And then I backed off.
That hook is nice.
It's enticing.
It's a nice hook.
It's enticing. I left it alone.
The funny thing is, I know what we should expect out of Florida for this game.
They'll play hard.
Toughness, right? And Ole Miss
hey, listen, if Ole Miss shows up shaky, going through the motions,
and they've played the LSU loss was that. There was a lot of 20-20 substance for Ole Miss when it played LSU, but they lost that football game, lost to Kentucky. They weren't ready. They didn't want to meet the challenge.
Right.
Buddy, they better have it together.
Well, yes. They better have it together is one way of putting it. I don't. Ole Miss has been a weird team. Sometimes you watch Ole Miss, you're like, ooh, Ole Miss has got a little something to them. Other times you watch Ole Miss, you're like, ooh, this isn't good. They're a weird team. I feel like they'll be, you know what? Oddly, I think that was pretty important to see Florida beat LSU. Ole Miss watches that tape and goes,
sure.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Florida. Okay, got it.
Opponent.
Yeah.
Opponent that beat them, got lucky to beat them in some ways, but they see.
Right,
yeah.
but they see it. Right, they're looking right at it, like, oh man, if we're not careful, okay.
That's one of those. I just feel like Lane is very much a front runner type. They need to get out ahead. Some teams don't. Like, everybody wants to get off to a good start. Some teams need to, and some don't. Lord knows the 2014 Seminoles never needed to get off to a
and
fast
rarely
start.
did.
And they would grind it out, and they would dominate you for the last 30 minutes of the football game, and that's how they would win. But Lane strikes me as the type that he'd much prefer to be up 10-0 early in this game rather than be 7-7 in the second. Some like Florida is the opposite. Oh baby, if this thing's 7-all in the second quarter, we got you right where we want you.
Ole Miss catches a break. This is a noon game. They catch a break. If this isn't 7,
naturally it's in the window of ours. Yeah.
This isn't a 7 p.m. game at Ben Hill Griffin, and we get to halftime and we're tied at 10. Then you got problems on your hands. This is a sleepy nooner. Students can't be that hammered yet. Probably. Is Joe still there? Joe's Deli, do you know, in Gainesville?
I've been there 3 times in my life. I don't know.
Across the street from Ben Hill Griffin. You used to be able to go into the stadium, go out of the stadium, go grab some beers, drink them, and go back into the stadium. They let you do it.
Last time I was there was the Sean Powell game. It's been
and you got to hear that poor fan going, son of a...
He still tells his grandkids now.
There was this guy. He was a punter for Florida State. His name was Sean effing Powell.
Yeah, never heard of him because he never did a thing at the professional level.
But he sure booted the bejesus out of that football against us. What a night that young man had.
Charlie Weiss had no chance.
Booming 57-yard punts over and over again with 6 seconds of hang time. It was ridiculous. Our number 3 forthcoming.
Every journey starts with a first step, a daring step. But what they don't say about first steps is that you have to keep going, taking step after step, and eventually you take a big leap, accomplishing more than you ever thought possible. After 57 years, Tallahassee Community College is soaring even higher, and we're now officially Tallahassee State College. We invite you to take a step and visit Tallahassee State College. Learn more at tsc.fl.edu.
The best happy hour in the city is at Café de Martín and El Bar. All day, every day, you can find great deals at Café de Martín while enjoying the best outdoor seating Tallahassee has to offer. Sip away on 2-for-1 house wines, chilcanos, and margaritas all day long, Monday through Thursday. Plus 2-for-1 pisco sours and margaritas on Fridays and Saturdays, and 2-for-1 mimosas for Sunday brunch. Come join us at Café de Martín, where every hour is happy hour, in the Esposito Shopping Center on Capitol Circle Northeast.
This announcement is brought to you by Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey.
If you're driving right now, you should know there's an 80% chance that the cars all around you don't carry any bodily injury insurance. Most people don't realize it, but in Florida, all the law requires is that drivers carry property damage insurance. This means that the texting teen drifting over into your lane or the drag racer on your rear bumper have no way of compensating you or your loved ones when they cause a crash. And this should scare the hell out of you. Fortunately, there's an easy way to protect your family from this, and it's called uninsured motorist coverage. It's an absolute must, but a lot of insurance companies are convincing folks to drop it just to save a few dollars. Take it from the personal injury experts. Don't. At Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey, we've recovered millions of dollars in uninsured motorist coverage in crashes where our clients would have otherwise received nothing. So please, call your agent right now and make sure you have uninsured motorist coverage on your policy. We hope you'll never need it, but we'll be here for you if you ever do. Fonville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Don't settle for less.
As I want to do, I look out for your comfort, everybody. You know that, and I've told you for weeks that the cure to what ails you is over at Manscaped. Manscaped.com, promo code Warchant, of course. But you need the salve so the boys are comfortable. Listen, being comfortable is a year-round endeavor. It's not just when it's hot outside. It's not just when there's the potential for rash or chafing, as they like to say. No, it's year-round. Get you the underwear. Get you the salve, get you the balm, get you the cream, get you the nose hair clippers, get you everything you need to trim and keep proper. There's the crop preserver. There's the stuff that helps you out with every part of your body, not just down there. Go to manscaped.com right now. And if you use the promo code WARCHANT, you'll get 20% off. You really can't beat that. I'm saving you a ton of money. Promo code is WARCHANT for 20% off. Plus, by the way, fellas, free shipping to boot. So there's no reason not to go and check it out and find out how it is that you can look right and feel great year-round, no matter what. Every day you leave that house, you say, I'm buttoned up. The boys are comfortable. I'm ready to go. Manscaped.com, promo code WARCHANT, 20% off plus free shipping. Can't beat it.
From Vegas, brought to you by Palmar Spawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with 2 great locations in Tallahassee.
Florida Gators are a 10.5-point underdog against Ole Miss on Saturday at the Swamp. The Gators have won 3 straight at home, outscoring each of the opponents in those victories by double figures, totaling 50 more points than their opponents in those victories. Ole Miss laying 10.5 at Florida Saturday. Georgia 42-point home favorites against UMass at Sanford Stadium. South Florida laying 17 at Raymond James Stadium against Tulsa. In the NFL, the Jacksonville Jaguars off until December the 1st, and they host the Houston Texans. Thursday night football today, the Pittsburgh Steelers, 3.5-point favorites at the Cleveland Browns, total 37. Cashback for every bet with a GBank signature Visa card. VSIN.com/GBank. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Finding the perfect gifts for everyone on your list takes time, and the holidays can get a little busy. So let Macy's help you get a jump on your shopping with our Black Friday sale happening right now. It's your chance to find the best deals on the best gifts before the holiday rush, like cozy puffers and coats and more of the season's best styles. So get your gifts at Macy's now, and when you're cool, calm, and collected during holiday crunch time, you'll have yourself and Macy's to thank. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply. This holiday season, Straight Talk Wireless is letting you say yes a lot more with real unlimited data. Yes to sharing pics of the ugliest holiday sweaters. Yes to checking weather on the go for surprise sledding trips. And with a free bonus sign up, let the yes-tivities begin. No way! Yes way. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 1/5/25 while supplies last at participating stores. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation on select single-line plans. Limit of 2 phones per customer. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Time. It's the one thing we never get back. We can't create it. We can't buy it. We can't store it somewhere. Once it's gone for good, which makes it the most valuable thing we have. The only real question is how we spend our time. So, how much time are you spending every day running in circles with a computer network using old software on old equipment that's wasting your time, that gets in the way and leaves you feeling angry and frustrated? Let's fix that. Call Crown Networking. They've been helping people just like you and I make the best use of their time for the last 20 years. Now is the time for you to make the call. Here's the number in Tallahassee, 850-999-0090, 999-0090, or online at crownnetworking.com. Oh, and talk to them about getting you a new phone system, too. You know, it's time.
This is Jay of Paul's Termite and Pest Control. There are many companies out there selling pest treatment programs at prices which seem too good to be true. Like most things, you get what you pay for. Let's separate the fact from the fiction. Fiction. The price these companies offer includes all visits needed to keep a home pest-free. Fact. Their prices only include regular visits for exterior treatments. If you encounter pests inside your home, these companies will charge you for additional visits. Is that really pest prevention? At Paul's Termite and Pest Control, we always apply exterior treatments, but our plan includes a significant difference. Whenever you encounter an interior problem, Paul's technicians are there, usually the same day you call, and there is no extra charge. With ProShield, you'll never pay extra for providing the service we promised. Pest prevention for your home, and we'll be there as many times as needed to honor our commitment with no extra charge. Paul's Termite and Pest Control is a local company that proudly served the Tallahassee area for over 50 years.
For the elimination of termites and any other pests,
call Paul's. We'll get them all.
And we make lawns greener, too.
Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I am going to raise the heavy hand and come down hard. Done dealing, Bass Man. That's how that goes. You get the hell up out of here.
I kind of have fun with the warnings. It's kind of fun.
You give the warnings and I give the get your bitch ass on down the road. Pat.
This reminds me of
We're done.
Billy Gunn's theme song at the end of the 90s, early 2000s. He was Mr. Ass Man.
You
remember him?
Billy Gunn? No, that was Bart Gunn. That was the one that got knocked out by Butterbean, wasn't it?
Maybe that was his dad. I don't know. But yeah, Billy Gunn was part of the New Age Outlaws, one of the great tag teams in the history of WWF.
Now, I'm just, now you've got me upset. Hey, guys in the chat, you wrestling freaks, you let me know. Who's the dude that Butterbean knocked the hell out as part of that weird wrestling promotion? And it was awesome because he nearly killed him.
His music would start and go, and I'm an ass man. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. And he'd come out. Yeah.
It was a good era of wrestling when anything went. You could say and do anything. It was nuts. Yeah, anything. It was great. And it was so over the top as to not be offensive because it was just crazy.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. You're like, oh, it's absurdist. Got it. What are we doing in the chat? Let's go. Who'd Butterbean knock the hell out? It was awesome. No, he knocked out a lot of people. I'm talking about the WWE. When he came in and fought the winner. See, what wrestling did was they had a thing where all of their wrestlers boxed, Tom, each other. Not all, but a handful who thought they could fight. And they boxed each other. And then the winner of that, which I think was like Bart Gunn or something like that, got to fight Butterbean. That's your great reward. You get to fight an actual fighter. Somebody who knows how to throw a punch and avoid one. And we'll watch it during the break. It's incredible. I thought he killed him. You can hear the punch echo through Bart Gunn. I was right. Thank you, Dad guy. You can hear the punch through the entire arena, Tom, and it is, whew. When you hear it, you're like, oh, no, he's dead. Somebody get medical attention to him now. This is not good. He's a dead man. His head so violently jerks back. It's fantastic.
Much like you reacted to a Lamarcus Joyner hit against Duke.
That poor kid.
Yeah. No, he killed him. Hey, man.
Well, and you could see it coming.
The best way I can describe that is imagine for a moment that you're in a library, because that's what the press box is like, especially one that doesn't have open air. So it's a very quiet place. And sometimes you hear internal PA. It's not the same one that goes over the stadium. Gain of 6. Second 4.
Right. It's boring.
Yeah. No, he killed him. Echo off the walls.
Well, that wasn't rooting.
No.
That wasn't rooting. I was worried about the kid.
He's dead.
Well, and you could see the balls in the air. I'm doing the math. I've got the angle. I'm looking at Lamarcus. I see that Lamarcus, unlike our current secondary, recognizes what's happening and puts on the jets. And it's not like Lamarcus wasn't afraid to harm somebody. I loved him. I loved Lamarcus Joyner. He was evil. Evil. And you'd see him zero in. I'm like, this poor son of a bitch. He's getting hung out to dry up against the sideline. There's no room for him to go anywhere. He can't opt out. This isn't going to be good. His head's turned. Here it comes. Pow!
Yeah. The only thing that rivaled that in that era where we would often go and sit in the press box or on the roof.
I would always go up to the roof.
Well, we were in the box that day for some
reason. We were, I don't know why.
Was watching
too hot?
Carlos Williams as a gunner on kick returns. Oh, my Lord.
I used to watch Ernie Sims literally hurt people all the time on special teams. Go flying down and just, people's heads would jerk back.
I can imagine, because that's what Carlos did. There were wedges in those days, and he would bust the hell out of that wedge. Ridiculous.
I loved that. That's one thing. You go back to Jimbo recruiting Lamarcus Joyner, and that became the pillar of that defense. And really, that was his first great get from South Florida. And bringing that kid in changed everything about who we are. And I am very curious to see who the next guy is going to be. Because you could argue out of the transfer portal that Jermaine Johnson changed what Mike Norvell and Florida State could be. When Jermaine Johnson came through the door, he looked so different than the rest of our players. That guy looked like he belonged in Alabama's locker room because he was in Georgia's locker room. He was that kind of a
Yeah,
dude.
you could see the difference in the two programs.
It was unbelievable.
When they just lined up together for a drill. You're like, oh, okay.
Well, and so, you know, it makes me mad. This is what I don't understand. I really don't understand this. When you look at our offensive line, now this part, we had a discussion yesterday on the show about Josh Storms, and I don't have a problem with Josh Storms, but some people are like, hey, man, is Josh Storms doing a good enough job? And I know he's well thought of in that industry, and he's, you know, our guys have made huge gains and all of that. But I will tell you that, you know, listen, some of it's the clay you're working with, right? And it's relative. But time and again, when I watch the elite offensive lines play college football right now, like you go, if you want to look at Georgia, if you want to look, we've looked at, for years, we've looked at Alabama, you look at Iowa's offensive line, it's year in and year out one of the best. They just churn out draft picks. Notre Dame's offensive line is always elite.
Helps Iowa score 13 a game.
Well, I was scoring this year.
Finally.
Yeah, I was scoring this year. Yeah. Hell, a lot more than we are. So,
son of Ferenc got let go.
Yeah. Yeah, I was scoring now. And, but anyhow, back to this, okay? When you look at those guys, it's not just like from a technique standpoint, just look at them. They're all built different. They all look very different than our offensive linemen.
I guess.
No, they do, Tommy.
Well, then why is Nick Saban calling our roster top 5 or top 10 in terms of side and speed and trench? The whole thing. He said the roster is top 10 in terms of size.
He did say that, and he was wrong. And I don't know if he gets a daily email about being wrong about that the way we do, but he should. I hope all of our fans are emailing him.
Well, he's looking at our trenches and saying that's what it is. That's what it should be.
Because he looked, I'm sure he looked at Farmer, and I think he looked at Darrell Jackson. And if anybody walked into practice anywhere, including NFL scouts like the ones that came here and looked at Darrell Jackson and Josh Farmer, you'd say that's NFL. And then if you looked at Patrick Payton, you'd say, okay, that's an elite-looking college defensive end. He probably looked at, I don't know who he looked at on the offensive line, but
he knew Ferguson. He had him.
He had Ferguson.
Leonard,
yeah.
Byers ain't small. And now is he a tackle? I don't know, but he ain't small.
Right.
Darius was in the best shape he had ever been in. Didn't matter.
But they don't look like, when you look at Texas's offensive line, just go side by side, watch a game, and you'll see what, I know you've done it, but you'll see what an elite offensive line looks like. Ours doesn't look like that. Now,
there's this thing called the snap, and what you do after it helps cloud how you view what an
I'm
offensive
talking
line is.
Physically, they don't look the same. They do not look the same. Okay. Amarius Mims, who we tried to bring in here to the point of getting in trouble. You think he looks anything like what we look like? No, he would have immediately looked different. Like if we had gotten him, you'd have been like, oh, shoot, that's what that looks like.
That is true. And he's different at the next level too.
Yeah.
You know, like even up there, like, oh,
but I'm saying that's what elite looks like. And so if I'm Mike, I've got to pay closer attention to that because I know he thought, and we did too. I mean, I'm not trying to just cast aspersions and not admit our own mistakes, but everybody, I mean, this team was written about as much as any team in the offseason because of the way last season ended, and they were a preseason top 10 team. So everybody wrote up this team, and they talked about this team, and they talked to other coaches in this league, and they talked to NFL talent scouts, and they talked to evaluators of all kinds, from media to former coaches to former players, and they all thought that at the very least Florida State had a top 20 offensive line. Okay, so we all got it wrong. Every one of us, coaches, players, media, all of us. But I will say that there were people who thought, well, okay, I like their offensive line. They've got a ton of experience. They've played a lot of football, but let's not pretend they look like Georgia's offensive line or Texas's offensive line or Ohio State's offensive line or Notre Dame's offensive line. And that's when we're getting into the debates about where would you rank them. You don't know until they start playing, to your point. You got to watch these games play out. But these debates that were happening about where Florida State's offensive line ranked usually centered around, well, I can't put them in the same class as Georgia. I can't put them in the same class as Ohio State. Now, Ohio State's lost both their starting tackles, and they just lost another starting offensive lineman, which could make the game against Indiana interesting. I mean, they're down to the third. They had a true freshman out there. So, anyhow, when you looked at those guys, you're like, ooh, that looks different. That those guys look different. We haven't gotten to that place yet. Maybe 2013 we were at that place.
14 too.
Yeah.
when you have big Rod Johnson at left,
Yeah.
and then you put Cameron. Actually, that's the best offensive line I've ever seen here. That one, not the championship one. It's the next year. When that move was made midseason,
yeah,
that was a group of road graders and some holdovers from the year prior. I understand that, but that group of 5 was something to behold, and it wasn't because of them that we lost the Rose Bowl. My God,
no, they did their job, and they would have
done
run
it
for
the next
300
week.
yards. Yeah,
They would have done it the next week if they were still playing. That line was something. And then 22s was good too. Here, just a couple of years ago. Everybody knew it was coming. They couldn't stop it. Why?
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't incredible, but it was good.
No, it wasn't on the level of 14.
No, it was good though. But okay, to the point. I hope like hell we see him effort to get something akin to that again. When we were talking about offensive line coaches, I don't always agree that you have to come from a place in which you've seen winning at a high level. Like, you don't always have to be a coach that we hire that won a national championship somewhere else or played for one or was a perennial playoff team or whatever. I don't always think that that's the case. You can be a lower level coach that has shown a real acumen for the game that's a rising star, like we're talking about with Marion right now as the OC at UNLV, maybe coming here to be our OC. That may be a great hire. We'll see. If we get him, I'll be excited to see what he does. And he's never been, solely responsible for an offense at a big school. Now, he was a coordinator of sorts, a passing game coordinator of sorts in a couple big spots. Obviously, working for Sark at Texas was a big deal, but he wasn't the guy, right? He'd be the guy here. We'll see. But I do think it would be helpful if you find an offensive line coach that's been around elite offensive lines. You've watched this guy coach offensive lines that were of the upper echelon. He has produced and churned out NFL offensive linemen. I would like, that's one area where I'd say, if you could get it, if you could, we don't know, but if you could get it, yeah, I'd like that. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I agree. The track record, that's such an important job. I mean, it sets the stage for everybody else. And then from there, frankly, I don't really care what names fill in the spots for wide receiver, tight ends, or running backs coach. I don't care.
I don't either. I would tell you that if my wide receiver coach, quote unquote, if the wide receiver coach is an elite recruiter, that'd be cool.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why I don't care about as long as they hit the trail. I don't care about track record of success, who they sent to the league. It's who they brought into the program. So you've got quite the redundancy now. If Marion comes to Florida State, you got quite the redundancy specifically at wide receiver. You got a head coach who played it. You've got an offensive coordinator who may or may not be the wide receivers coach, probably won't be, but he was a wide receivers coach, multiple stops along the way.
Mm-hmm.
The guy understands the position. So that dude who actually occupies the drills,
right?
And tells
he just needs to be an elite recruiter.
For the love of God. For the love of God.
That's
yes.
Right. Well, I've always thought your running back coach should just be an elite recruiter. You don't really teach running backs a damn thing.
Sounds good.
Running backs are usually ready-made. Like the good ones, when they get out of high school, they're ready-made. Now, there's just things they can learn. I'm not saying you're useless. Billy Taggart's running backs coach at Baltimore. You think he's teaching Derrick Henry a damn thing? No.
Right. Well, and that's where Coach Yak, we'd never talk about Coach Johnson here, David Johnson. But, I mean, the running back position there's been a yes from a good kid or two most every cycle. We often talk about recruiting that's not done. Danzy's a player. I think Davis will turn into one of those as well.
Yeah, and you should be able to get good running backs to Florida State. You really ought to be, just like you ought to be able to get good receivers to Florida State.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but we don't say that about him because he does. Many of these other coaches, well, how is it that you cannot get X position here to Florida State? And they don't.
I'm still waiting on that elite linebacker recruit that we're going to bring in. Come on now, baby. Florida State's got a rich history at linebacker. Come on, man.
And we haven't had a good one in 10 years.
Forever. Well, we had a couple plus guys last year. Tatum Bethune and Deloach, but we didn't. Yes.
I'm talking about off the trail. I'm talking about, it's like, oh, God, that guy is going. Nakobe Dean is going to Florida State. Like, there's none of that energy. None. And there hasn't been forever here. And so that's where a kid has lived his whole life and he plays the position. It's like, oh, not in my lifetime. Who's Florida State churned out to the pros? That's great that Marvin Jones, like the dad of that guy who plays defensive end for Florida State, was awesome. And so is Derek Brooks. Yeah, my grandfather watched him play when he was in college.
Buster Davis was a good linebacker here. But it's been a minute.
That kid's not going to know Buster. He'll know Derek Brooks. He'll know Lawrence Timmons.
I know. Timmons, maybe. Yeah, Timmons was great, but it's been
Vince Williams went to Florida State. What? Yeah, like I mean.
By the way, Vince Williams is a better pro than he was a collegiate player.
That's correct.
It is really hard to imagine that is the case, but it is the case. We'll come back, show you the picks in just a moment. We'll also solve for the future. We got some audio video for you. How about that, right? Little audio video where we have a potential offensive coordinator commenting on the offense and coaches that he's been influenced by. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Whoa! Check out Pinch a Penny. We're stocked to the rafters with Hot Spring Spas, a recognized leader. Imagine the fun of the holidays with warmth, relaxation, and lovely bubbles. And with 30 home spas for you to see right now. Affordable right now, too. Up to $2,000 off. Or special financing. Ask for details. Is the world stressing you out? Fight back. Now, to assure these prices, Pinch a Penny, open 7 days a week on Career Road.
I'm Franklin, and I've been a Paul's Termite technician for well over 10 years. Working for a great company like Paul's Termite and Pest Control is a blessing for my family and myself. I get tremendous satisfaction knowing that the work I do helps protect most people's biggest investment, their homes, the place where they raise their families and build lifelong relationships. Paul's is a company that stands behind their commitments to customers and employees, and that makes me proud to represent them.
I'm Jay. Having the privilege to work with people like Franklin and all of our employees is truly an honor. There is no doubt that the staff of Paul's Termite and Pest Control is the best in our industry. All of our people are local, and local really does mean something. We're North Floridians. Our kids go to school here. We shop here. We build relationships here, and we honor our commitments. To all of our customers, thanks for trusting us to protect your family, pets, and home.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too, call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Infinity of Tallahassee. Here's something to think about during the holidays. The highly acclaimed, award-winning 2025 Infinity QX80 SUV. It gets a lot of people wanting to test drive one, simply because they heard about the Clips reference stereo system. But guess what? Once they drive this high-tech wonder, they forget all about the surround sound. And it's easy to see why, because this Infinity is loaded with technology and comfort, including luxury upholstery, heated and cooled first and second row seats, a huge touchscreen, blind spot monitoring, optional four-wheel drive, and that's just for starters. How about 2 rows of massaging seats, a refrigerated center console, and much more than you can possibly imagine. So remember, the wait is over. At Infinity of Tallahassee, step up to individual audio, biometric cooling, Infinity Light Path, and ProPilot 2.1. Not sure what any of that is? Just stop by and let us show you. You'll see for yourself why the new QX80 is one of the hottest and most desirable new vehicles of 2025. Infinity of Tallahassee on Mayhem Drive.
The best happy hour in the city is at Café de Martín and El Bar. All day, every day, you can find great deals at Café de Martín while enjoying the best outdoor seating Tallahassee has to offer. Sip away on 2-for-1 house wines, chilcanos, and margaritas all day long, Monday through Thursday. Plus 2-for-1 pisco sours and margaritas on Fridays and Saturdays, and 2-for-1 mimosas for Sunday brunch. Come join us at Café de Martín, where every hour is happy hour, in the Esposito Shopping Center on Capitol Circle Northeast.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avastin-capted Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
It'll be our luck that the guy we're trying to bring in as OC becomes the next head coach at FAU. We did warn you about that, so we shall see. He is a candidate. Brennan Marion is a candidate for that head coaching job at FAU, and that would obviously probably supersede being an OC here. There are other good offense coordinators. Okay.
Is that like happening now or something?
No, there's just there's energy. There's some energy there that could be a possibility. Look, it's no small feat to get UNLV to play at a high level. I'll say that. In my lifetime, they have never mattered in football. And these last 2 seasons have been very good, and everybody is rightfully very, very curious how that's possible at a place where they just do not win football games. They haven't mattered. And that guy is rightfully, I guess, on the short list of for many schools. By the way, if somebody asked me during the break, Marion is from, by the way, just because people were wondering where he's from Pennsylvania, Tom. So he went to high school at Greensburg-Salem High School. So somebody had suggested that maybe the go-go offense was somehow connected to something in D.C.
Where he coached earlier in his career and perhaps coined the term of the offense as he was cutting his teeth.
Well, again, he's coached at West Valley, the Harker School, St. Patrick, Waynesboro, Arizona State, Oklahoma Baptist, Howard, William and Mary. Howard was for 1 year. William and Mary, Hawaii, Pittsburgh, Texas, UNLV. So maybe, but
might have been the year at Howard. Yeah.
Could have been. And that would be total ignorance on my part because I didn't know that there was any reference to a go-go anything. So I just thought go-go offense was cheesy.
Somebody said, in Baltimore. I live in Baltimore, and go-go music is awful. And he hates go-go music, but that's what it's after.
I could tell I'm
something
old.
of the DMV area.
I don't even know what that is. I just know that I would call my offense something other than the go-go offense. That's what I would do. Pull up the picks. Let's talk about it. And then I want to play the clips. We'll do the solving of the future with ISF. But first, let's get these out there for the late comers. Here you go. SMU minus 9.5. Run it up, Rhett. Wake plus 25. Seems like a lot. Tulsa USF over 60.5. Not a lot of defense being played in that game. Louisville Pitt under 57. That feels right. Bama minus 13.5 against Oklahoma. Tom still hasn't fixed this USC pick. He will later. It's against UCLA, not the under. It's minus 4.5. And the NFL, Cleveland plus 3.5, Detroit minus 7.5. Teaser pleaser is a 3-teamer. And we're going Lions, tease to plus 1, Commanders minus 2, Chiefs minus 3. You can get that at plus 100. Let's go. Daily Chop, that may be true. I'm just pleading ignorance, and I'm largely knowledgeable about most forms of music, so maybe I hadn't heard it called that. You're now going to pique my interest, and I'm going to look into it. I'd like to know. Derek wants to know, why would he want to go to these bum G5 programs as a head coach instead of a blue blood top tier program like FSU is beyond me? Well, because being a head coach, A, would pay more, and B, you're in total control. You get FAU to a bowl, you'll parlay that into a better head coaching job, and you're down the path of being a head coach. I love the to me, I get it. Listen, we're all partial. We love Florida State, and you think about the idea of ever working for Florida State as a coordinator, you realize like that would be a dream come true. But if you've always wanted to be a head coach and you've got the opportunity to be a head coach and you're going to a place that will spend, FAU is, again, putting money into their football program. They're trying to elevate its status. They're a long ways away. They're relatively new. We know all of that, right? But plenty of guys are taking that job and either sunk or swam, but for those that have had some success, they revitalized their career in some cases. Obviously Lane did.
I'll just say that the opportunity here is you're walking into a place that's so bad. If you have, I don't think this hurts maybe he does. I don't think this hurts your reputation if you come here and it's middling. If you come here and succeed with how bad it's been and you make it night and day, I think that has essentially the same effect as doing well at FAU as a head man. I do, just because of the caliber of this program. A lot of times, big name programs call on coordinators from big name programs to be their next head coach without a middle step of being a head coach along the way. That's how Jimbo became the guy here. Jimbo wasn't a head man.
Well, he was a head coach in waiting, and yes, he had been the OC at LSU,
Right.
and yes.
I mean, but there are plenty of examples where a coordinator who's kicking ass at an institution becomes a head coach somewhere else. Kirby Smart, like that would be how I would pitch Florida State here is we're so bad. You do your thing here. I mean, everybody's going to call you. They might be calling for you here. They might be mad at me and say, keep Marion, let Norvell out the door. Like that's what it could be if you make this thing into something explosive in a year or two. That would be the opportunity at Florida State. I don't know that you get that much juice at FAU with success, but the thing is, you if you succeed here, you'd have to do it at a high level.
Yeah.
You could make a lot of money for yourself coming to Florida State and whooping ass.
For those wondering, Lane Kiffin went 11-3. He was responsible for them being over 500 for the first time since 2008. He turned around the following season, won 10 games. It was the only time that FAU football, only the fourth time in school history that had a winning record in Division I football. Finished won a Conference USA championship there. So he was very successful at FAU, and then he promptly took the job at Ole Miss. But Lane, of course, you guys everybody knows Lane is a very different story. I mean, he had been the OC at Alabama. He had been the head coach at USC. He had been at Tennessee for a second. He'd been, all of that.
Mortensen.
Yeah, it was with the Oakland Raiders, of course.
He broke Al.
That's the best. It's a liar.
He broke out the overhead.
He was in his dying years. Old Wispy out there explaining to people how the conversations went down. That was a weird turn of events. And thankfully, we were on the air for it. Back to the picks. We'll round him. Oh, I already did it. I forgot. We did that. Let's do it. Let's solve for the future with our friends from ISF. And Tom, you're going to have to ready the clip. For 40-plus years, ISF is combining your vision and their expertise. They'll work with you. I'll tell you more about ISF in a second, but set us up. What do we got? What's the juice here? What do we got for ISF?
A couple of clips from your old pal, friend of the show, and cheater at spring games, Andy Staples.
Yep.
It's Brennan Marion one-on-one. This is an interview from before the season started, but it's a couple of clips where a lot of people have seen the clip where he's loving on Mike Norvell and the influence that Mike Norvell had on him personally. There's a little bit of that, but there's video/audio of him talking about influences across the coaching industry, things he's learned and people he's learned from, and then also some things about doing more with less in his offense. So 2 different clips, your choice which direction we go.
I want to play them both back to back. I'm excited to hear both. You pick. Doesn't matter to me. We're going to hear them both.
Norvell is not having it, and so I've always coached my players the same way that he coached me, just take it very personal. And every player that I'm responsible for, I'm trying to make sure that they become a star and have an impact. And so, really those 2 guys, Gus just being the way that he is, like we're going to run our stuff. I don't care what no one says, and then getting a chance to be around Whipple, who was really the same way, just in a passing way. I had never seen a guy like so obsessed about the pass game and like forcing it to work and making it work and not caring what anybody thought about it. And then I guess being with Sark, Sark is just a cool dude from the standpoint of like, it's really hard. I mean, you got to be a real guy to be able to manage the level of politics and stuff that go on in Texas, the superstar, status of Texas, and still call the plays and be able to do all that. So, I try to learn from everybody. I mean, I worked with a lot of great guys. I've worked with Kenny Dillingham, all types of guys that are big time guys in football right now. And, I've taken pieces from all those guys. When people talk about our offense, they're like, man, you guys do so much stuff. In my mind, like if you asked our O-line coach, Coach Vice, he's like, well, we got 4 runs, like it's very simple up front, because you got to think like every time that we had this offense, we couldn't be complex up front because we didn't have enough guys. Like we had 6 offensive linemen at Howard, like when I was a high school coach, we had 5 or 6 offensive linemen and we would like flip sides. Like, okay, we're going to run over here. You 2, you're better. You go over here, so we've always kept it simple on the O-line. And, really the hardest job is for the quarterback, but every year except for William and Mary year, he was on pace to be an All-American. Every year, the quarterback's been an All-American, led the conference, been a freshman player of the year. Because, if you just do it right at quarterback, you play point guard at quarterback, you're going to have a lot of success just from the standpoint you get to pull and pitch the ball, you get to run the ball, and like you said, there's a lot of vertical shots and opportunities down the field for you to take as well when they try to overload the box. So it's definitely poetry in motion. There's a lot of things that can happen on any given play, and we really don't try to put limitations on what the quarterback can see and do out there from that standpoint.
I love the idea that something that comes with him for certain is a quarterback run game. I'll start. I think in modern football, that is more often than not something you need. If you have a quintessential elite level pocket passer, prototypical 6'4", 6'5", big arm, can process information quickly, can throw off platform, but has a good sense in the pocket, that's fine. But it's awfully hard to find those guys, really hard to find them. And I need to know that if I don't have the first-round quarterback in the draft under center for me this year, that my offense can still go, that I can do things. And the quarterback run game oftentimes ensures that. I mean, the fact that he describes it as a point guard running the offense, gets to keep, pull, go, run, all those things, take shots when they come up to stop that. I love it.
Well, and he talked about extended comments in that interview about how certain quarterbacks he's had didn't have the skill set about how to make those decisions in the split second.
Yeah.
Because how often have we seen here with different head coaches, different offensive coordinators, why don't you keep the ball there in that situation?
Yeah, we've had a hard time teaching it.
Is that a real read or was that a design run? Because if it's a read, he's got 8 yards, 10 yards.
Could have taken, yeah.
So he talks about imparting that wisdom to the quarterbacks so that they're able to make those split-second decisions. The other thing I'd say, there seems to be a slight difference in philosophy with how he wants a quarterback to process information and Mike Norvell does from the offense built for playmakers, which was the offense built for playmakers as it was described to us. You're going to isolate a matchup and understand pre-snap that this is the matchup that you want to go with, and we're going to make it easy on the quarterback. Remember how when Mike was pitching it in the coaching clinics and he was talking about either motion or formation is going to help dictate that this one-on-one is where we want to go with the ball. It sounds like Marion's concept is a little bit more, there might be some processing before the snap, but I need you to make a decision with how a defense is moving after the snap. And he says, I don't want to put limitations on you. I want you to see the whole field. So there's pre-snap isolation of where to go with the ball versus see the whole board. And that would be an interesting clash of philosophies, even though they have a lot of similarities. I like that Marion has been with so many different offensive minds, that there's variety that comes with that. And also, you heard him list different experiences he's had where he didn't have the proper ammunition for the fight, and he decided, well, I'm going to have to find a way to work around that. That's going to be a problem here next year. Even if we have a nice transfer portal class, good recruiting class, overhaul of 30, 40 players, it's not going to overnight turn into a place where you have an embarrassment of riches. You're going to have to work around a deficiency. And I like having an offensive coordinator, if he's the guy, who understands how to do that and is not afraid to do that and put ego aside.
Well, we're going to find out probably sooner rather than later whether this is a possibility or not. Has FAU zeroed in on the timeline to announce? I mean, they're like everybody else right now. Everybody's scrambling. If you're in the position to have to make these changes that we talk about every week, you're going to have to do it quick because December is nearly here, and obviously everything's compressed these days. So I'm trying to be careful about getting my hopes up for certain guys. He's not the only one. There are several guys that we like that would excite, I think, the fan base, excite us anyhow, and on both sides of the ball, frankly. But I don't know what the timeline is. And also many of those guys are coaches that other programs are looking at.
I can tell you that if this is the guy that comes in, you have to give him the tools to succeed, just like any coach. I know it's not like earth-shattering stuff, but a Castellanos does become, for me, a more attractive option if this is the style of offense that you're going to run. That's the guy you want to run it with, or that type of player. Not the dudes we currently have on campus. They would not be my first choice. Doesn't mean I want them out of the program. I'm just saying, watch what UNLV does, how they run their offense, and how much pressure the quarterback's legs put on the situation. I think that their kid right now is 600 yards rushing for the season.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So in addition to a very nice touchdown interception ratio, got to have the ability to throw the ball down the field. That might be the one limiting factor for Castellanos. I'm not sure how strong his arm is, but he is the type of quarterback with the threat of the legs that you would think would fit very nicely with Marion. So we'll see what they pair him with. But I think a new quarterback has to be a part of the equation here.
Thank you, D. Ward. We're talking about coordinators, but you have given me a good example of what go-go music is. Now I know. So sort of pop rap. Got it. And the song you reference is hilarious. Have you ever heard that song?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's funny. Somebody asked about Jim Leonard, and, there was a time where I thought Jim Leonard might be available to us. We've talked about the name Jim Leonard before. I'm always going to wonder what the hell happened at Wisconsin. It seems certain he was going to be the next head coach there, and just like that, they went a different direction. The next thing you knew, he was out, and now he's in the NFL, and he's having an impact with the Denver Broncos. So I think it's going to be hard-pressed to bring in Jim Leonard, who's now in the league and doing well. Denver's defense is good. He's not solely responsible for that, but he's the defensive passing game coordinator, and their defense against the pass is really good. So I don't know that he leaves the league to come here to be the DC. But I've always liked Jim Leonard's defenses. I mean, he's been very, very good everywhere he's ever been. I just don't think he's obtainable right now. I mean, he's got a job in the NFL. You don't recruit in the NFL.
No, that's an upwardly mobile organization, at least for the moment. Now, in 3 weeks, that can change if they fall into a losing spell. The league, it happens fast, one way or the other in the NFL. But right now, things are in a very healthy place for Denver.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think how quickly that happened, by the way. That we kind of thought that they were going to continue to fail and that Sean Payton had lost his luster, and now he's got a guy that can mimic Drew Brees and they can go, and he's got a better arm than Drew for now. And go from there. So we'll see.
We'll see for the moment. A lot of young quarterbacks go through ups and downs when they are definitively one thing until they're the exact opposite a few weeks later when they're figured out on tape.
ISF, solving for the future. We're attempting to do that with these coordinator hires. There's no doubt a future has to be brighter than the one we're currently living in day to day. Every day you wake up, you go, damn it, man. Let's hope these coordinators are going to make a huge difference. And it can't just stop there with the OC and the DC. Obviously, you got a receivers coach that's also been booted. And I think more coaches will be shown the bricks in the not-too-distant future. I wonder if they would consult with ISF, collaborate with our friends at ISF. After all, ISF, right here in Tallahassee, but serving the nation, 40-plus years of experience, making sure that your ideas, your dreams, the work you do matters. ISF, go save Florida State football. I could talk about all the things you've done with government agencies and creating stability and results and client partnerships. Let's talk about how you save Florida State football. The ultimate advertisement. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Now, here's your Paul's Termite and Pest Control Tallahassee weather report.
Much cooler and clear to finish out the week and heading into the weekend. Plenty of sunshine with highs in the 60s and lows in the 30s and 40s, staying that way through the weekend. Tonight, clear, lows in the 40s. More sunshine on Friday with a high of 62, low of 37. Again on Saturday with a high of 64. And more sunshine on Sunday, a little warmer with a high of 70. From Real Talk 93.3, this is Danielle Kelly.
For the elimination of termites, pests, and for a greener lawn too, call Paul's. They'll get them all.
Ain't nothing but a G-Pod, baby. I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go. Well, you like remixes, right? Of course. Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game. Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce. Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups. Seriously? And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable. It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love, so go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today. Baby! See? Remix! Well, actually, that's more of an homage. Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere. Grassroots coffee teapots. So very good. There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer. Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times. Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants? These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help armed men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Kind of curious to watch Cleveland and Pittsburgh tonight. Looking forward to the NFL. I think it's going to be a close game.
It's one of those where I'm going to check the score, and if it reads interestingly for the moment, because sometimes the score can be 17-13 and you're not feeling it. Sometimes it could be 7-7 and you are. But it draws me if you just find the live game tracker. It calls to you. That's going to be it because I'm going to have hockey on first.
Always enjoyed, by the way, the matchup between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. I'm not of that region of the country. I didn't grow up with Pittsburgh, Cleveland being a big deal to me. But I've always, that's one of those uniform games where you're like, yes, this looks right. They should be playing one another. And it should be cold. It should be cold and muddy and low scoring and fun. Yes.
Because those are two of the muddier tracks in football. Now that, Candlestick doesn't exist anymore, I think they've got the monopoly on the muddy tracks.
Road team Thursday night games, as I cited earlier, are death. So kind of a trap game tonight. Hey, by the way, did you see this? You were talking hockey a moment ago. Austin Matthews, who you know.
Yeah.
Toronto Maple Leafs. They won without him last night. He's, missed the last 6 games, I think it is. He went to Germany to see a doctor for treatment for an undisclosed injury because in hockey, they don't tell you injuries. They'll never reveal what the injuries are ever, and they don't care how much gambling money is infused. They're never going to give you an injury report in hockey.
Upper body, lower body.
Yeah, that's all they give you. So they're never going to tell you about injuries. Anyhow, the point is Austin Matthews went to Germany, and I read that today, and I went, And then I started thinking, Christian McCaffrey went to Germany for his injury. What the hell's going on in Germany?
You doing the wind horse thing?
I'm kind of like, hey, guys, what's happening in Germany that can't happen in America when it comes to treating injuries?
Everything.
They've got the magic pill? What's going on? We got a lotion over there that we don't know about over here?
Everything.
It's weird to me. But yes, I went and looked it up, and I was right. Christian McCaffrey was over in Germany with the Achilles problem, and now Austin Matthews goes over to Germany. Every North American athlete that gets hurt's like, oh, better take it to Germany. Should I have sent Bryce to Germany before we opted for surgery this week?
So, you are here for the procedure? Welcome.
I would like to know what the hell the deal is in Germany. They get you hopped up on goofballs we don't have here?
Signs this paperwork.
We didn't get a chance to talk about it. Maybe we will tomorrow. Stu Sternberg can go to hell. How about leveraging, and you have to be a soulless piece of garbage to attempt to use the devastating effects of 2 hurricanes to renegotiate a deal and threaten to leave a city. You piece of garbage. Owners will never understand. This is across sports. First of all, the teams are worth billions. Okay, we know this. So an NFL franchise, an NBA franchise, a Major League Baseball team, hell, hockey teams are worth more than $1 billion a piece, okay? So in baseball, it's like $10 billion. We go on and on and on, right? So you think about what you're doing to the community, what you're asking for from the community. You're a billionaire owner, which owns a team that's worth tens of billions in many cases, and you ask the community to build your stadium. Get out of here with that nonsense. Nobody's ever going, and more people are waking up to this idea that, no, you don't have to. In no other world do I want to start an ice cream shop and I say, build it for me, Tom. You and your people in this neighborhood get to work. Build my ice cream shop. You're going to go, no. How about you build it yourself, a-hole? So this drives me nuts.
It is resonating as you speak in the way that you are feeling it down in Tampa. A couple of people have texted me about it. One family member, one friend. They don't know each other. Same sentiment.
Yeah, man. Hey,
my friend said he needs to be careful. He's going to get shot down here.
Dude, there's listen, it's a little personal for me.
It's right after the devastation of the hurricane. It's as tone deaf as it gets, and it's intentionally so.
Yes.
It's intentionally so.
And we know people, and I have a family member who lost their houses. You're going to come back and talk about, hey, listen, I know, sorry about your house. But did you see the trop got damaged? Could you give me some more money, build a new stadium for me? Get the hell up out of here with that nonsense. One other thing to note, by the way, we also didn't get to, but I will on a Libations Friday have a fun time talking about, maybe not a fun time. I would like to address the fact that our favorite coach, Gino, is now the all-time winningest basketball coach after last night's win. He has 1,217 wins. Now, to his credit, he has 11 national titles and 23 Final Fours, just so you know. So I'm not going to ignore the man's accomplishments. I am going to say that it's a fake number. It happened in women's basketball. Who are we kidding? Stop this nonsense. It's 3 good teams. There's no competitive balance in women's basketball. Stop doing that. Don't act like his 1,217 wins are better than, 700 different men's coaches that have ever coached, where there is actual balance. And it's not me hating women. It's just like, look, man, for the longest time, Tennessee, UConn, and now South Carolina, they're the only good teams. That's it. Everybody else sucks, and everybody else loses by 100 when they play those teams.
For a minute there, it was Mother McGraw.
I mean, you could accidentally win 30 games if you're the successful coach at a women's basketball program. Now, to his credit, and he deserves a lot of credit, I'm just looking at the all-time wins record with a jaundiced eye.
Look, yeah, if you arrive in the place where you did conquer, the rewards you're getting are so disproportionate.
Oh, I mean, it's insane.
It's so disproportionate.
Come on.
Now, you arrive there, but my God, the ROI on getting to that place is wild compared to the rest of sport.
We think it was a little bit more difficult for, one of our least favorite people, but uber successful. Your favorite voice.
Basketball.
You think it was a little bit tougher for Coach K to get to 1,200, whatever the hell he got?
Listen, son. I almost got fired.
Yes. Oh, speaking of college basketball, Jacksonville beat Virginia Tech last night, 74-64. I say that because I know you didn't see it, but I want to point out, get ready for it.
Did you?
I saw some of it. Here, I want you to know something, Tom. Because I'm gonna get out in front of it for everybody out there. Get ready, everybody. You know the straw that stirs the drink that changes everything for the mid-majors all the time, right? That win that you get from a mid-major over a power, and then all of a sudden everybody benefits greatly, and we see this strength of schedule and all that. If you're in the A-Sun, you've done some things. Jacksonville over Virginia Tech. North Florida's already beaten South Carolina, the SEC, and Virginia Tech. Austin Peay beat Butler at Butler, which is doing some things, and now Jacksonville won on the road. The A-Sun, buddy. Don't schedule them. They're out here beating giants or good teams anyhow, left and right.
Do we have Jayville this year?
I didn't look.
We got a game tomorrow at 5, don't we?
At 5?
Yeah.
Also,
it's the Temple game that we're playing in Mohegan.
Oh, that's right. The Mohegan Sun, buddy. The Mohegan Sun. Let's go.
So the happy hour.
Oh, we'll be watching.
We got the first half of the ball game on.
Let's go. I'll be betting on it. Paul George got hurt. The Sixers are 2-12. Were you aware of that?
No, I didn't know he was on the Sixers.
Yeah, he is, and they're
when did he leave LA?
This offseason. Yeah, they're 2-12. 2-12, dude. Grand opening, grand closing in Philadelphia.
The only thing I knew about the Sixers was Embiid shoved the reporter. That's it.
And he's also often hurt. You knew that too, didn't you? Also, Sale won the Cy Young. Congratulations to Braves fans. So did Skubal for Detroit. Little known number here. Both of them won the Triple Crown of pitching.
Yeah.
ERA, strikeouts, and wins.
And their numbers were eerily similar into the final week of the season across all categories.
And guess what? They're both lefties, and that's only the third time ever that the National League and American League Cy Young Award winners were both lefties.
I would assume there's a year with like Randy Johnson in there, Johan Santana.
There is a Randy Johnson year in there, and then there's like a 1977 or something like that. But there is. But it's interesting. What's going on in Germany? What's going on in Germany?
Somebody said that they have to report on Germany because they don't want to report on where the connecting flight goes. So they fly to Germany so they can fly somewhere else.
I'm curious. It's weird to me. JC was hammering the JU Dolphins money line. I'm starting to get after a little bit of college basketball wagering.
After what? All the exultation after the TT Cup teaser?
The TT Elite.
The TT teaser?
The TT Elite. And I may dip back into those waters in a few minutes, buddy. That TT Elite never stops. They don't sleep in the TT series.
It sounds like a stutter, which makes it funny. The TT teaser.
By the way, stuttering's never not funny, and I feel for people who are afflicted with stuttering, and we all want you to be able to stop stuttering if that's your goal. But hearing somebody stutter, I have to leave the room. I can't do it, and I feel bad. It makes me a terrible person, but I hear somebody stutter, unless it's a little kid.
To the solo cam.
When a grown-up starts stuttering, you're like, oh, no. Oh, we got to stutter. We got to go. Peace.
This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation.